Starting. Oh, I think we are live.
Good morning
Good
from Mexico.
morning, people. Welcome to Mexico and welcome to our first ever live stream, which we're super excited about. Well, first ever live stream here on YouTube. So we hope you're all having either a lovely morning or a lovely day, depending on where you are in the world and what time it is. Naik is making
Coffee,
Coffee.
important part of the day.
Most important part of the day. So right now, here it is about 9 a.m. I'm going to check in a minute if I can see like myself on the screen and if I can see any messages coming in, because I noticed there were over 30 people waiting before the live stream started. So hi, welcome. We're gonna have our morning cup of coffee. That's the goal for the live stream, and then to just chat with you guys because if you're here, you obviously watched our last video. I can hear myself speaking in the background.
Yeah, it's working.
It's working, and you can hear me. That's great. So obviously, if you're here, you watched our last video, and you know that we wanted to do a live stream with you guys to answer just any and all questions that you have. So during the stream, any questions that you have, you can plug them into the chat, which will be reverse here. I think the chat is here. Or either here, I'm not sure. But normally it's here. So any questions you have, you can put them into the chat, and we're just going to talk for a little bit, and then we'll look at the questions, and we'll get back to all of you. It's just going to be so much fun hanging out. Right now, we are on the streets of Cabo, so we're stealth streaming. We're just parked next to the road where the internet connection is good. So if occasionally you hear some honking, that's nothing to be concerned about. I'm, by the way, not having any coffee. I'm having some tea because I've been toning it down a bit on the coffee. So
Which one do you want? Which tea do you want?
I think I'm going to go for the orange and spice.
And all things nice.
It is a lovely day today here in Cabo, but it's also kind of hot. We have this big fan that we normally put here, but if you were to put that on, all you guys would hear at home in your living room or wherever you are is. So we've chosen to go for the slightly sweaty look and to disable the fan. But it's a beautiful sunny day here in Cabo.
There you go.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
I'm having some coffee. Good morning, guys. All right.
We bought a brand new webcam specifically for this live stream. I think we're looking nice and crispy.
Oh, yeah, I look.
It wasn't easy finding a webcam here in Cabo, by the way.
It wasn't. Yeah,
I think webcams are kind of.
Let's see what's going on.
Kind
we have on here.
Past decade.
So if you see me look at my phone, I'm just looking at the chat.
Every time Naik looks at his phone, he's looking at the chat.
Oh, no. Live chat. Here we go. Why does this not disappear?
70 people, that's a lot.
Oh, we got 70 people on. All right, so we've got Christina, Jen, Sean, Beers on the Go, Bill, Din, might be a nickname, Linda from Germany, Ken and Corrine, Dadcam.
Sean again.
2 Seans. Duplicate it yourself. Oh, Richard. And
good morning, everybody.
Richard Savage. Someone with a short name.
If we're not mentioning your name, it's because we probably just thought you already commented. I think you mentioned every name.
Joseph, Nicola from England, Sue, Tom,
Kevin, Anthony, Tara, Nwanti, K.
From India, from Belgium.
India. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from, because I'm super curious.
Sarah,
94 people here. That's a lot.
Nicholas. We have Illuminati on. Junie. People from Taiwan, San Francisco.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Oh, someone from Peru. Hi. Norway.
Hawaii.
LA.
Boston.
Istanbul. Dublin.
Whoa, this
Kansas,
is going fast.
France, Washington, Manitoba.
Oh, that's so cool.
Oh, it's so cool to have so many guys from so many different countries on here. It's so cool. We have more than 100 people on here. Indianapolis.
Indianapolis. That's not that hard to read.
No, it is when you think about it.
Wow.
Egypt, Dubai. Wow. Welcome,
super
guys.
Cool,
welcome.
Super cool. Oh, by the way, Just a brief service announcement. Beers on the go. Please send us an email or something, because like we know you're a member on YouTube, but we couldn't find your information. Like we couldn't message you
Yeah.
on YouTube.
We're coming to Lake Chapala area,
And we would love to meet up
we'd love
with
to
you.
meet up. Send us an email or a message on Instagram.
Yeah.
Groetjes. So cool, so we have so many people on.
Oh, that's so much
Alright,
fun. Okay, so for
let's
those
get
of you
this party on the road.
So for those of you just joining, because I noticed there are now a lot more people on here than when we just started, and I just said it, the goal of the live stream is to basically, you can ask us any question you like, and we're going to answer it for you live. This is live. This has not been pre-recorded. There are no cuts, no edits.
This is the real Naik, see?
This is the real Naik. So any question you ask us, we're going to try to get back to all of them in this live stream. And also, since you're here, that's probably because you watched the last video that we did. In case you didn't, I'm going to give you a small spoiler, but in that case, you heard it here first. The reason we're doing this live stream is also in part because we just announced that we are not just driving from Alaska to Argentina, but we're also going to be going to Antarctica.
Woohoo!
Which we're super, super stoked about. Yay!
Dance party.
Dance party. And we thought you guys might have a bunch of questions about that as well. And there's loads more to tell you about that, in addition to what we already mentioned in the previous video.
Yep.
So we want to sprinkle that in a little bit as well and just hang out and chat with you guys. And I think it's going to be so much fun.
All right. So, let's see what
Again, Naik is the question master. I don't do this because I'm kind of scatterbrained. Like when I start talking about something, I will not at all look at the questions. So Naik has to kind of go through them, see which one of you have asked questions, and then he's
Sorry,
like the host.
I need to reload like the message. There's so many. I don't know if I can still go back to all of them. Wait.
It can't go. Oh, because sometimes messages disappear in the live chat if it goes really fast.
Come on.
Oh, my dad is here. Hi, Dad. Hi, Mom. And my sister is actually also, my sister is sometimes watching the live streams as well when we do them on Patreon. But right now, I don't think she's watching because she's on holiday in Mexico, on the other side of Mexico.
Okay. Yeah. It seems like I can't scroll back all the way up, so I'm gonna start wherever I can. Yeah. Good morning, guys.
If we skip your question, that's most likely because we haven't seen it, so you can always ask it again.
Yeah. Ooh, someone gave us a.
Oh, Sean, that's adorable. Oh, that's so sweet. Sean gave us our first ever super chat.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sean. That's amazing. And he said in the comment that it's for the Antarctic Fund. Oh,
Yeah.
that's super nice.
We're gonna put that directly into the Antarctica Fund. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
Sean, that's amazing. Thank you.
Oh, there's someone else, Canon Corrine. Thank
Oh,
you so
really?
much.
Oh,
Okay, now we need to have a little dance party. Thank you,
okay.
guys.
Oh, that's amazing. And they also wrote something. So happy you guys are doing a live. Okay, I'll start with this question, because that was something we were going to address anyway, and that's a good question, Ken and Karine. Are you going to be taking the ferry from Cabo to Mazatlan, or driving back up Cabo? If you want that to be a surprise, you don't have to answer. No, we were actually going to... Oh, I've lost my tea. My tea's gone. Anyway.
Focus, Kim. Focus. We're doing a live stream.
You see, this is kind of the thing with a live stream. You're much more on display as you are, because I can't cut this out. If I blooper, it's in here. Anyway, so yeah, that is the short-term stuff that we wanted to talk about as well. We are going to take in 2 days the ferry from where we are now in the most southern tip of Baja California. We're going to drive to La Paz.
Yeah.
And from there, you can take the ferry to mainland Mexico, to Mazatlan.
Yep.
So
on Tuesday, we're going to be taking the ferry from La Paz to Mazatlan, which is about 10, 12 hours, I think, the ferry, which is a pretty good deal, because otherwise you have to drive all the way around, because now we're on the tip of Baja, which is on the west side of Mexico, and you have to drive all the way up again and then down, which is about 40 hours of driving to do the same thing, so we can just be on a boat for 12 hours.
The ferry is not super cheap. It's like roughly $1,000, but 40 hours of driving, $1,000. I mean,
yeah, I mean,
it's in, yeah.
And
so we're gonna do that, and then from there,
it's also a safer option, because then you don't have to like drive through some of the states that are considered pretty dangerous right now. You do have to pass a little bit through Sinaloa, which has a really bad rap, but it's a fairly limited part that you have to cross from Mazatlan. Mazatlan is generally considered pretty safe.
Yeah.
So it's a tourist area.
We've been getting a lot of messages about safety stuff, and there's probably going to be a bunch of questions about this as well. But just know that in terms of safety, we are always very, like, what do you call it? Street smart and stuff. So no matter where we go, we should be fine.
Yeah. All right. Oh, Beers on the Go also sent us a super chat.
Okay, this is crazy. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Awesome.
Oh, I love that so many people are here.
100
142 people.
That's crazy.
Okay, questions.
Okay,
There are probably lots of
I'm
questions.
going to try to find the questions.
And I'm on it, like I'm in the zone.
All right. Natasha asks, have you considered selling Vinny in Argentina to fund a trip to Antarctica?
Ooh, no, we have not.
We haven't, no, actually.
I'm gonna write that down. Just
It's
just
always an option
as an
because
option.
like shipping back Vinny is also quite expensive. It's about $4 or $5. It's probably $5,000 now.
It's, last time I checked, it's 5.5.
Yeah. So just to like avoiding the shipping back would save us a lot of money and would fund part of the trip already. But selling Vinny, I don't know. Like at some point in the future, we'll probably sell Vinny.
Because he can go on forever.
Yeah, he can't go on forever. But I mean, he also feels like part of the family now.
Yeah,
I'm
it
not
does.
sure if I like, could have it in my heart to like sell him at the end of the trip right now.
No, and also maybe he's tired after the trip and he has to do it all the way again, like just
Yeah.
opposite direction. But it is a good idea.
It's also not so easy to sell a car abroad because it's like a European van, and then just selling it in Argentina, it's not that easy. Like to transfer the title
The plates and
all that
stuff.
stuff. There's some possibilities, especially I think in Uruguay, it's easier.
But also,
But,
and
yeah.
you can look for the next question. I just want to say some more stuff about that. Vinny is like
Sure.
decked out to our specifications, and one of the things that was very important to us was to have a very strong electrical system because we do so much work in the van. So we need strong batteries, lots of solar, and that costs a lot of money. So unless we want to sell him for like a lower price, which we probably don't want to, we would need to find someone who also really values that, because otherwise you're just going to buy a different van that is cheaper because people will be like, I don't need all these electricals.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, but it is a good idea. It is out of the box thinking.
Yeah.
Vinny, what do you think? No. Okay.
So he doesn't want to be sold. All right. Then asks, when are you hoping to get to Argentina? Well, it's a really good question, actually. Last week or 2 weeks ago, we took some time to replan our route, and like
It was necessary.
initially we were hoping like our initial plan before we left, we were planning to be in Argentina like next month. That kind of went wrong somewhere along the way. I mean, we
We're
decided
now
to take it
halfway.
slower and
Kind of.
all that stuff. And then our next plan was to get to Argentina in November.
Yeah,
like
that
this
was
year.
that was what we at the start of this year. That's what we started
Yeah,
thinking.
that's what we were thinking. But then we were having so much fun in Mexico, and we wanted to stick around a bit longer in Baja. And then we were like, I don't know why. Like, it's good to make good progress and like keep making progress. That's what we want to do. But also, we don't want to rush it too much. We also do a lot of work behind the scenes. We do freelance work, which means like, okay, we're traveling full time, but we're not like making progress full time.
No.
It's like a few days a week we do work, we edit videos. We need to pay for everything, like everyone. And so we decided actually to take it slower, and our plan is to get to Argentina in March. And that's also like, we can't extend it any further because of Antarctica. Like the season of Antarctica, where you can go to Antarctica as a tourist, runs from November to the end of March approximately.
Because that is the southern hemisphere, like it's the bottom of the world. So that means if in Europe and in North America it is summer in July, August, in Antarctica it is summer in, I don't know, don't quote me on this, December, January probably. So that is when daylight is the longest, when the ice packs break up, is around that period from November to March. And that's the only time of year cruise boats, which we would have to take, can actually access Antarctica. So we would have to, at the very latest, do the cruise in March.
Yeah, so
We're not necessarily
Yeah.
going to cut it that close, but
no, so I think for us our aim would be probably beginning of March to be like in the bottom of Argentina, and
Yeah.
we can't like extend it first. So if we lose some time along, I mean, we have
have a
made
buffer.
we have made a plan, like roughly so many weeks in this country, and so many. Not gonna go into that because I don't know by heart, and we have
I do.
like 5-6 weeks spare.
For Vinny
For
breakdowns.
or we also need to ship, and that was one of the questions as well. How are you going to cross the Darien Gap? well, we need to ship Vinny actually across the Darien Gap. So if you don't know, between Panama and Colombia, it kind of looks like there's a road in between, but there isn't. There's like a small part of like 100 kilometers, 60 miles. There's no roads there. It's just pretty dense jungle, and you can't pass through there. I mean, there've been people who have passed through there with a motorcycle and a machete and then just hacking their way through it. But
We're not gonna do that.
yeah, we're not gonna do that with Vinny.
Vinny is not that
Vinny's
kind of vehicle.
He's not machete proof. But anyway, so
The way everyone gets around the Darien Gap.
everyone gets around the Darien Gap is to ship their vehicle. So usually from Panama City to Cartagena in Colombia. That's the usual route, I think. Takes only a few days, 4 or 5 days,
But
if you're lucky. But some people don't get lucky and end up taking a month. So also there we need to have a little bit of a buffer.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's.
So
that's
from now on, we're gonna have to ship him 2 more times in the next year. Once to get from Panama to Colombia to cross from Central to South America, and once to get him from the bottom of Argentina back to wherever it is we're going. That might probably that will be home, but we're not like 1,000% sure yet.
Ooh, so many questions. Great, love
This is
it.
lovely.
So when you're hoping to get to Argentina, okay. Crossing the Darien Gap, Bonnie, we've covered that right now, so we're gonna ship around it. By the way, crossing the Darien Gap, it's only like like the shipping itself is 2 days. And for example, shipping from Belgium to Canada was 10, 12 days. Price is the same. Like, how crazy is that?
Oh yeah, that's. Yeah.
So yeah.
I was squirreling.
Anyway, oh, we have another super chat. Thank you, Kevin.
Kevin, that's amazing. We look forward to seeing you guys travel to Antarctica, Kevin and Linda. Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
I'm
you so
gonna
much.
put that in the Antarctica fund.
It's one step closer to me petting a penguin. I will literally be like this. No, I'm not going to pick up the penguin. But in my mind, when I get to Antarctica, I'm going to pick up a penguin, cuddle it, and then pet it.
All right. Where and when did Nike learn to cook so well? Oh, we'll get back to the cooking part in a little bit.
Yeah.
Christina,
There are very
we have
exciting.
some really cool things about that. When are you guys going to get married? Illuminati asks.
I already saw that question once before as well.
Ooh, that's an interesting
So,
question.
If you,
We've been together for.
I will answer this one. You just took the last 2. Anyway, I have to put my foot down sometimes. So in case you don't know, we've been together for actually 16 years now. You're going to see our anniversary in our upcoming video.
Yeah.
16 years we've been together, which is almost half our lives. And we are not married.
Send help.
So we are not
It
married.
feels like a life sentence instead of half my life.
We are not married. And right now, we don't really have any plans to get married. We've actually had this question a bunch of times in the past. For example, on Patreon Live Q&As, it's come up a few times as well. And I think the best way of explaining it is that we did consider getting married at some point. But in Belgium, I think especially lots of people who ask this question are from the US. And I think in the US, if after such a long period of time, you're not married, that is very out of the ordinary.
I think in a lot of countries like US and maybe outside of Europe, it's really common to get married after a certain amount of time. But in Europe, or at least in Belgium, like most people we know, actually, like a lot of our really close friends, they also have been together for years and years, and they're not married. Like some of the people you've seen in our videos, like Sarah and Francis, they've been together longer than us, about 20 years now.
They have kids.
They have kids. They're not married. Yuri and Alicia, you've seen them during the build videos.
Some of our very best friends.
I don't know, maybe 7, 8 years. They're not married.
And so
it's not that uncommon.
We've actually on YouTube had the question a few times, like, Naik, when are you gonna finally put a ring on Kim's finger? As though, people just might not know this, of course, as though I'm kind of waiting for a proposal. I am not waiting for a proposal. And when I start to wait for a proposal, I'll be like,
you can propose as well.
I mean. I can propose, but so it's not like that. I don't want to get married. We don't want to get married. We feel like we're solid as we are, and that marriage is also quite expensive. So instead of marriage, we're doing this.
Yeah. All right. Susan says you should have a wedding ceremony in Antarctica. That would be epic. That would be epic. That would be really epic. Though.
We can have a penguin officiate it.
Yeah, like a penguin be the ring bearer.
Yeah, that would be
really.
That would be stylish. That would be stylish on a cruise in Antarctica. It would be very unique.
Niken says, "I catch the live. Happy penguin guys."
Oh. Okay, so yeah, Happy
Yeah, Happy
Penguin, guys.
Oh, he was also the one that sent us the
Yeah, the super thanks on our last video.
super thanks.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you
that.
so much.
Oh, I see another question here by Sean. Um, Kim, at one of the military checkpoints, you mentioned you get nervous when you see a cop. You said 99% of the time you're doing nothing illegal. Can you explain the 1%? Well, I mean,
No,
everyone
we can't.
like everyone crosses the road sometimes at a time they're not supposed to, or stuff like that.
We could explain, Sean, but then we'd have to get rid of you. Richard Savage says it 35 years together and not married.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
that's great.
You don't have to be married to be committed to each other.
Your dad says, is the family invited to Antarctica?
Well, Dad, are you paying? I would love to invite you.
Yeah. We'd love to.
It would be amazing if you could take a family trip to Antarctica.
That would be great. Which family? Mine or yours?
Oh, we'd probably have to choose one. Or we would have a full cruise boat. But your family is so big, we would actually need a full cruise boat.
Yeah. Anyway,
moving on.
Someone says, I hope you go through Santiago and Chile on your way to Antarctica. We're definitely going through Chile. Santiago, I'm not sure.
We're not sure because
we haven't determined our specific route yet. We're gonna do both a part of Chile and a part of Argentina, but we haven't really thought about
because Chile is
exactly.
a very long country. It's very narrow, but it runs down almost from midway across South America all the way to the bottom. I think it's 4,000 kilometers from top to bottom, Chile. So we can't zigzag and then go back up to Argentina because that's also almost equally long, and then from the south of Chile go back up. So we kind of have to come up with a route that makes sense. So we are gonna probably have to skip some stuff, but I mean, on a trip like this, you always have to skip some stuff. Otherwise, it takes 10 years to do it.
Yeah. All right, let's try. Oh, Lycan, thank you so much. We got another super chat for the Darien Gap funds.
Well, that's really nice.
We'll put it in the fund as well.
Yeah, because the Darien Gap, we didn't mention that because we were talking about timings, but that costs it's only a 2-day boat ride, and it costs more than it costs to bring Vinny here from home. So
anyway, thanks so much.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you.
All right, so I'm trying to keep up with questions, but there's so many, so I'll just.
Well, we love that you guys have so many questions.
Yeah, it's great.
157 people. This is so cool. I didn't know how many people there would be here.
Yeah. All right. Annabelle says, could you store Vinny on the American continent and keep him for a next road trip? Just leave the vehicle here and then travel back and maybe buy another one in Belgium. I haven't actually given it any thought, but I mean, we would need another vehicle in Europe, and then somehow, I mean, if we could get the funds to have one, yeah, sure, we could do that. But I'm not sure if we have the money to buy another vehicle at the moment.
No, not at the moment.
But it would be a cool option.
It is a cool idea.
Related to that, we've thought about in the future, the current plan is to ship Vinny back at the end of the trip. It could change, of course, and it's good. It's actually a good idea, probably. To potentially leave him here or even sell him. I don't want to get rid of him. I can't sell him.
No.
Sorry, Vinny.
Anyway.
But we've actually thought about in the future maybe buying another vehicle, probably in the US because it's pretty easy to buy and register as a foreigner there. And then just have one vehicle stay in the US, and then we can travel to Canada, US, Mexico, whatever. Because there's still so many things to explore in the future. The US, it's massive. It's such a big country.
Massive.
We spent about 2-3 months traveling in the US, and
just the continental US alone.
If you've seen only this the small part we touched upon, it's crazy. And there's still so many beautiful areas to discover, the whole central area, the southern, northern, the whole eastern coast, northeast, all that stuff. How many states did we visit? Maybe 6 or 7, I don't know exactly.
The US has very pleasantly surprised us.
Yeah, we really loved our time in the US.
Not that we expected not to like it beforehand, but I think part of the reason we'd never traveled to the US before is because we thought, culturally, we tend to first go to countries that are like in Asia, or just like Mexico is culturally more different from what we're used to in Europe. And we
Yeah.
always felt like when we go to the US, it's gonna be so similar culturally in a lot of ways to Europe. So we're just gonna wait. We're gonna wait. We're gonna wait. And then we never ended up going until now. Well, what blew us away in the US is the nature.
Yeah.
Like both Canada and the US.
Yeah.
The nature is
Yeah,
next
we
level.
had so much fun, like going to Alaska, but also like the state of Oregon, state of Washington,
Utah.
California was amazing.
Utah, my personal favorite.
Utah was great. But I really loved California as well, like the beautiful coastline, the wild coast, but then you also had the beautiful beaches, like in LA and all that stuff, and the mountains. I mean, it just blew my mind. It was good fishing too.
Yeah, good fishing. Yeah.
All right,
That's what I value in destinations.
Let's see. Anthony asks, have you considered shipping Vinny back to the US and driving the East Coast?
We have. That's
have.
what, like, we had this discussion a few months ago.
Yeah, that was like my initial idea was at the end of the Pan American, so when we get to Argentina, and not ship Vinny back to Belgium, but ship him to probably like East Coast US, and then do another part of the US. I'd love to do that, but we decided that we want to.
But it's not fixed. It's like
No,
a very
but,
high
I
probability.
mean, the current plan is to ship Vinny back from Argentina to Belgium, because next year we want to spend quite a bit of time in Europe, exploring Europe and those places, because
because because it would be great. Like Europe, especially now, Europe is much smaller than where we are now. So if we travel in Europe, it would be really easy to go back home occasionally. Because right now we haven't been home in almost a year, and probably by the time we do go home, it's gonna be July-ish, somewhere
Yeah.
in July. And so then it will have been a year and 2 months since we last saw our friends and family, which is just a super long time. And like we want to continue this trip, and we're not going to go home for too long because we're on this mission to get to the bottom of the
Yeah.
world. But after that, after we complete that, it would be really nice if the next adventures could be like all across Europe, because then we can quite easily go back home more often.
Yeah. So,
Like
so next
every
time
couple months,
we
or
want to explore Europe because it's a bit
more compact.
compact. Yeah, it's a bit easier in some ways, that we don't have to drive so much, but also that we can go home more easily and spend a bit more time with our family and friends. Because now, like Kim said, it's been a year since we left Belgium.
Yeah.
We haven't like been home or seen anyone. And we're probably still gonna go home in July, August. So it's
July,
another
August,
3-4 months, and then the next time we go home is probably next year in probably April, I would guess.
Yeah.
So then in 2 years' time, we've been home like once,
Because
basically.
we kind of really wanted to finish the trip in November initially,
Yeah.
because we were like, then we can get Vinny home by Christmas,
Yeah,
and we
that
can
was the
be
initial
home
plan.
by Christmas. That was a plan we had at the beginning of this year. But then when we started thinking about it and factoring in all the work that we do,
Yeah.
we realized that it would require us to rush through much of what we're going to do, and that also isn't the point. This is kind of a once in a lifetime thing. So we figured that this Christmas, we're just gonna probably be spending it with the two of us, unless we come across like a big pile of money that's enough to fly home for Christmas separately from South America. But then to round up the trip in April next year.
Yeah. All right. Rebecca asks, what do you miss most from home other than family?
Friends.
Friends and family.
Friends and family.
What else?
Friends and family. Probably food.
Yeah, I think some
It's
of
not-
the food that we have in Belgium is really good, and
I know what I miss most.
What?
Desserts.
desserts. Yeah.
Because Europe has some of the best desserts in the world, and like Mexico, we love the food in Mexico. But yesterday
Food's really good.
we went to the grocery store, and the desserts never look as good as the pastries do in like Belgium and France. Like the French pastries, we are right next to France, so we
Yeah.
have some great ones as
We
well.
tried like a donut and a pastry yesterday, and
It wasn't so great.
it looked kind of good, but then you taste it. So yeah, the food's probably the most important part. Which food would you eat now if you were in Belgium?
Always the same. The beef stew which is like, it's made with brown beer, dark brown beer, and some syrup. Well, not syrup. not cough syrup, but like almost a jammy, but from
Yeah.
pears. And so it's a little bit sweet, it's a little bit bitter, and then we usually have it with Belgian fries and some fresh mayonnaise. Mom, I'm looking at you. Best beef stew in the world.
All right. Um, Hannah asks, "What is the one item you wish you had packed and didn't?" I know which one it was for me.
Which one? I don't know.
Inflatable kayak.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So if you haven't, like, if you've seen our last video, you know that I rented a kayak and went fishing, had a really good time, and I kind of want a kayak now because it was so much fun to go fishing on a kayak. So
It was at the lagoon. It was actually the second last video where we met up
second
with
last
Chris and
video,
Marianne
okay.
and Ben and Jessica.
Yeah. So yeah, for me, like if I think back now, like I would have brought like an inflatable kayak, but not just for the fishing. I think it would have been really cool to just have some fun and go kayaking on the like a lot of lakes that we passed through in Canada and like also on the ocean in
And
the
what are you
US.
gonna do about this problem, Nate?
Well, Kim, do I have a solution? I actually ordered an inflatable kayak that we can store in the van.
Because we have so much space.
Yeah, so space everywhere.
It's all empty. Look at all this empty space.
Look, it looks like Phineas smiling behind us.
It does look
This
like
is the
he's
mouth,
smiling.
and this is the.
But so Naik has
the
ordered
eyes.
an inflatable kayak and he's had it delivered to Mazatlan in Sinaloa. So we're gonna go to Sinaloa to pick up the inflatable kayak.
Yeah, we're hoping to do that on Wednesday.
Yeah. He's
so-
super excited about it. And
Yeah.
like he's spent many hours fishing on the coast here in Baca. The fishing is supposed to be truly top notch here, but from the coast it's kind of slow, or at least for you it's been kind of slow, to the point where you kind of started to wonder, I think, like, am I using the right things to attract fishes?
Yeah, but I mean, it's not the best season for fishing at the moment.
Okay, but it's still one of the
yeah,
better
yeah,
places to
yeah.
fish
But,
in
like,
all of the Americas.
from May to September is like the really good season.
And so he's rented a kayak in that video. We also rented a kayak in the video that's coming. And
I got a nice fish.
without
Really nice
spoiling
fish.
too much, the Cabo video, you have to watch it. It's gonna be epic. It's the next video, the one we post next Saturday.
And what's for you the one item you wish you had back, Kim?
It's hard. I'm gonna have to think about that. I don't have any particular thing that
No,
I wish I would have packed. What do I sometimes wish? What do I sometimes miss?
I don't think we missed a lot. I mean, we have.
I do wish, and I've looked into getting it. I would like to put a map of our route, like a map of Alaska to Argentina, up on the wall in like a, what do you call it? A picture frame. And I've looked at getting one, but we're always on the move so much that it's really hard to get packages shipped unless you could do it really short term. And I want it to be a vintage map, and those usually take a long time to find and to ship and stuff. So that's something that I would love to have right now, but it's not necessarily something I would have packed. I don't have anything, I think.
Yeah.
I think.
All right. So we have that right question.
Now I'm probably going to start wanting something.
Someone says, hold on. Someone says you should check out the Newbies. I think it's not a YouTube channel for all things Antarctica. John and Tara were married by a penguin in Antarctica.
What?
Are you pulling our leg, Kate? Is this even real?
Oh, no, I want to get married by a penguin.
Did they get married by?
Is that actually possible? Is that official? Does it have to be?
Is a penguin licensed?
How do you find the right penguin? Like, they're not all licensed and they kind of look alike.
I don't know.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm going to have to check that. That's the first thing I'm doing after this live stream is I'm going to write that down. The Newbies penguin.
All right,
Penguin.
let's do some quick questions because we're now.
Okay, we're going to do rapid fire
We're
because
just-
there are so many
okay.
questions.
How's the solar holding up with your power demands?
Really well.
Amazing.
We haven't
have-
had to use shore power even once.
No, we have 800 watts of solar, and it's basically unlimited power that we have.
Just do-
Unless we park in the shade for a few days, and then we don't have any power.
But with this sunny weather in Mexico,
Someone says, I can't thank you enough for how honest and real your videos are. They are a great escape for those of us that are stuck in very stressful jobs. a job. I need to get the funds to travel. Thank you.
Oh, that's so nice.
Thank you. That's really nice to
And we
hear.
definitely know what that's like.
Yeah,
Because that was us.
We know what that's like. A few years ago, that was us. I think even in, like, we started full-time travel in 2019, right?
2019.
We came up with a plan, that we wanted to travel for a year, and probably in 2015-ish.
Yeah,
And
we
then
saved up for
2016, like, we made it like really a concrete plan. But we saved up for 3-4 years to be able to like travel for a year and have some funds, and so we really know what it's like to be stuck in a stressful job and like waking up in the morning and being like, oh my god, I have to get up to work. So we understand. But
and we also use travel vlogs to escape to a world of travel.
We used to watch people like Fun for Louis and Christian LeBlanc and some other people.
Karen Nate, Selma Vagabond, and a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
Rapid fire.
Oh yeah, rapid fire. Okay.
Rapid fire.
Annabelle asks, which parts of Mexico are for sure on your plans to go in the coming weeks? So for sure, Tuesday we're taking the boat to Mazatlan. I mean, for sure, we haven't booked it yet, so 90%
hopefully Tuesday.
Sure. We're taking the boat to Mazatlan, and then after that we're heading to Guadalajara, and we want to go to Lake Chapala, which is the largest freshwater lake in Mexico. It's a really beautiful area.
Good for kayaking.
Good for testing out my kayak.
And then afterwards, we kind of had a plan that involved Mexico City, then back to the Pacific coast, then food.
Rapid fire again.
I'm going more rapidly than you are.
Okay.
Like, put it in the chat. Who's the most rapid? I think I am.
So, and then we want to end up in Oaxaca, state of Oaxaca, and then Chiapas, and then continue to Guatemala, and then in between in between Guadalajara and Oaxaca, we don't know yet.
We'll see.
The initial plan was to go to Mexico City and San Miguel y Allende, which is a really beautiful area. But we're thinking of maybe changing that up, but we haven't concrete plans yet.
Eric Peterson.
Oh, Eric, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you.
Good luck on your adventure. It was awesome meeting you at Christmas. We love Eric is the Eric from Christmas in California.
Yeah, they invited us for their Christmas Eve party with their friends and family. Like, how cool was that?
One of the most memorable Christmases
ever. We were just talking about it yesterday.
We were
talking about it yesterday, like how cool that experience was. And all right, Sean, how long do you think you will stay in Antarctica? Is there a lot to do there? You're going to have to buy some warmer clothes. Temps can be minus 56 Celsius.
I'll take this one because I'm excited. I'm excited. Oh, rapid fire. But I mean, it's about Antarctica. Slightly slower. It's semi-rapid fire. So the way everyone goes to Antarctica, like we mentioned in the previous video, and Sean, for sure you know this, is to take a cruise. Most cruises are between 10 and 15 days long. You can go for as long as 60 days if you so desire, but especially if you still have the funds. So probably for us, it's going to be around 12 to 13 days a cruise. A few of those days are spent like just getting to Antarctica across the Drake Passage, which is like really, really choppy waters and stuff. It's one of the roughest parts of ocean in the entire world. But then once you get to Antarctica, there's actually a ton of cool stuff to do. Obviously, there isn't a whole lot of, like, there are no cities or anything on Antarctica. But from your boat, you can go kayaking in between, like, the icebergs. Yeah. You can go snowshoeing. You can do lots of wildlife excursions with a Zodiac and stuff. You can even, depending on the boat you take a polar plunge where you actually jump into the water of Antarctica. Yes, you heard that right. You can also sleep on the ice, like in this, just a sleeping bag, not a tent, just a sleeping bag. But it kind of depends on which boat you take. So we're thinking of taking one. We don't need a fancy boat. It's gonna be expensive no matter what boat, and we don't want to pay more for a super fancy boat.
No, we just want to have like the cool adventure, like maybe kayaking or sleeping on the ice or seeing penguins up close and that stuff. So
be married by a penguin. Jesus.
Beers on the Go says, I will happily bake you something you are craving. I have been told I'm a pretty good baker. My sons call me Star Baker.
Oh, that would be lovely.
We're picking up on that offer.
Love all the
someone asks, we love your drone videos. Are you looking at compiling a YouTube channel solely for your aerial videos?
Not really.
No, we haven't actually. I'm not sure if we're going to do that.
No,
we're pretty busy with all the stuff that we already do on YouTube and our Patreon.
And work.
But we might do in the future, would be cool. But I think there's already so many drone videos out there as well. So
It's also something that you can really infuse your personality into, so I wouldn't know how to make something like interesting, special
Yeah.
of it.
Someone says, what do you recommend if you wanted to do this trip on your own?
You mean the Pan American?
Probably the Pan American.
Yeah.
Let's assume it is.
That's a good question.
What would we recommend? So many recommendations, actually. I think, like, if you want to do this trip, get the iOverlander app.
Oh,
That's probably like the biggest lifesaver in the world. It's a free app.
Ooh.
Like, you don't have to pay for it. It's 100% free, and it's an app where other people who are living and traveling in their vans, and like not just the Pan American, put in information, and they put in like points of like official campsites where you just pay, or free campsites where you can go, or just parking lots where you're allowed to stay overnight, but also places where you can,
yeah, that one.
places where you can fill up with water, places where you can go to empty your toilet, because once the toilet is full, it's full. It's not like at home, and all that stuff. I mean, there's like tons and tons of information out there for every place.
And you can people
and,
post
yeah.
reviews, pictures. It is. Without that, it's so much harder.
That's the biggest possible.
And also,
help
if
that
you're
we can
doing it,
recommend.
I'm assuming you're doing it in a vehicle, like you're not just taking public transport and stuff. If you're doing it in a vehicle, do what we ended up doing: buy an analyzer for the vehicle that you have, if it's available.
Yeah, like,
like
an
a thing-
OBD reader. where
OBD
you can-
reader, a thing you stick into the dashboard, and if there's a problem, the thing tells you what
Yeah.
is wrong with the car. Definitely.
Yeah. Jen asks, did you get a tuner for your ukulele?
Not yet, but there's
Not
an
yet.
app apparently. There's an app.
She says it's an app. You
Yeah.
can download one. No, we haven't. You haven't played that ukulele.
I
much in the
actually,
last 2
I'm gonna,
weeks.
I'm gonna talk about that in the next video. I kind of fell off the ukulele wagon because it hasn't been tuned. Every time I played it, it sounded worse and worse, and I was like, "What is wrong with this thing?" Apparently, you need to tune it.
All right. Nicola asks, do you think you would ever be able to go back to a pre-travel life, or do you see yourselves doing this for as long as you can? That's a good question.
I think we would be able to go back to a life without travel, but I don't think I would ever be able to go back to a life where we did the exact same things. I was a lawyer. He was a financial consultant. We worked for big companies where our main goal was to climb the corporate ladder. Secretly, we were also saving for this, but in between,
Make rich
we had
people
to
richer.
make rich people richer. I was a tax lawyer. I optimized
The
like
worst
tax
kind.
structures. I optimized like tax structures for big multinationals. I essentially made people who have lots of money even more rich. It wasn't the most fulfilling thing for me to do personally, so I would never go back to that. And I would prefer to still travel as much as we can, but I
Yeah.
can see a life. I can see a
Yeah.
life where we do
Yeah.
something else, like a videography or photography, just for ourselves.
Yeah.
As freelancers.
Like, yeah, work for ourselves and not work for a boss anymore. That would probably be. But I mean, for now,
For as long as we enjoy it, and we really do still enjoy it very much, even after all these years.
for at least like the next year, we're going to be traveling, and then probably the year after that as well. And then we'll see. I mean, maybe we want something else, or we want to settle down for part of the year, or I don't know.
But for now,
But
that's
for
not
now,
really a worry to
but
have.
that's not really something we're thinking about. So, all right. Kim is turbo rapid. And Kate says she's not pulling her leg with the penguin marrying someone on it.
I wrote it down.
All right. Someone asks, Linda asks, have you thought about opening a GoFundMe for your Antarctica trip? That's a good question, a loaded question. I mean, we have thought about it, opening a GoFundMe. And I mean, the thing about the Antarctica trip is, it is super expensive. I mean, there's no way around that. It's about $7,000 to $9,000 on average per person. Sometimes you can find a good deal, maybe.
It's not.
Five,
That's not
six.
even on average. That's budget.
Yeah, I mean that's lower.
That's the
end.
range we're looking
Yeah,
at.
That's the range we're looking at, and obviously, I mean, with
Sorry. Please go ahead. Please continue.
and obviously with the income that we have, I mean, we don't make a lot of money. We make a little bit of money off of YouTube, and most of the money we make freelancing. And we kind of have enough money to pay our monthly expenses, but we don't have like thousands of dollars of extra to pay for it.
Yet.
But I mean, a GoFundMe. I mean, we don't want to ask other people to just pay for our trip, and just because we don't have the money doesn't mean like
You guys
you
should
guys
pay for
should
it.
just pay for. I mean, come on, give me $15,000. But we're thinking about doing some things that offer value for our viewers, actually, that could help us bring in more funds. And we're thinking about different kind of things. And if you have ideas, I mean, please let us know. We're really interested in picking your brain and learning more about this,
Because
and what we could do.
roughly the way to get to having all that money is we work harder for it ourselves through freelancing and YouTube and stuff. We can get some really cool brand sponsorships. Like
Yeah.
if there are certain brands, for example, if you are the CEO of North Face
Yeah.
and you want a really cool North Face jacket featured in Antarctica next to a penguin, like we can look into some partnerships
If I
and
was
stuff.
the North Face, I would be willing to pay like $20,000 for that.
Wouldn't that be lovely? Anyway, stuff like that. And then also there is, of course, the option to do certain things, to look into how we can take on some other nice projects.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be taking on some extra work as well. We're going to try to be a little bit more budget conscious as well. But we still want a cool experience, so I'm not going to like go 100% budget.
I love how there are now more people here than when we started. So the number keeps going up. It's not going down, which means you guys like the stream. Oh, and just as I said that, 4 more people joined.
That's
Welcome.
great.
Oh, I love this. It's so much
Yeah.
fun.
All right. Well, actually, like maybe we should touch on this, the
The what?
cookbook part.
Oh,
I've seen many people have been asking questions about the cooking that I do. People have been asking us to write a cookbook.
not us, you.
Me. Wait, I'm just gonna
Close the window for a
a
bit
little bit.
because it's.
The sun is like really directly on me.
Oh, okay. The cookbook.
Yeah. Sorry, I lost track
So
there.
lots of people
So,
have been
yeah.
commenting like, "Is Naik going to make a cookbook, a
Yeah.
fan life cookbook?" We
How
would
did I
love
learn
that.
to cook and all that stuff? But we've come up with something I think that's even cooler than a cookbook. Okay, but I'll first answer the question because I've seen a couple of times, like, where did I learn how to cook? And am I a professional chef? No, I'm not a professional chef. I've never done any like cooking training. Wait, I'm sorry, my leg is numb. Oh, oh. I'm too
We're
tall.
sitting like this,
Yeah.
but that's not so easy for Naik because he's too tall. Are you a professional chef, Naik? No.
I'm not a professional chef. I haven't done any like formal training. I've never worked in a restaurant in my life, at least not in the kitchen. I've worked as a server when I was a student. No, I actually learned to cook. Well, my family is like most of them are really good cooks. Like my mom's a good cook. My grandmother, she was like an excellent cook. And then my
Great
grandmother's sister, my great aunt, she was also like an amazing cook. And it's actually how I learned it. Because as a like the great aunt is the one that passed away a few months ago. It's almost a year actually. Time goes by so fast. She passed away a few months ago, and as a kid, actually, I used to spend a lot of time there at their place because they didn't have any kids, and I was like the only grandchild in that part of the like my mom's side of the family. And I used to spend a lot of time there, and she was a great cook, and I just always loved the food there. And so like spending time there, I just learned how to cook little by little. Like even like I think when I was like 8 years old or maybe 10 years old, I started helping in the kitchen and learning how to cook, how to make sauces, and how to make stuff. And I've always had like a passion for good food, and over time, I think I just developed my cooking skills more and more. Like even as a young teenager, I a lot of times I just cooked for myself, and my mom was out working or whatever. And then when we started living together, I cooked most of the time, and I started
The
to
vast majority of
hone
it.
my craft a little bit.
And whenever we're with my family, you do like quite a bit of cooking as well, together with my mom in the kitchen, my mom and dad. And so people have been asking about a van life cookbook.
And we actually came up with a better idea than a cookbook. I mean, because a cookbook, it's nice.
It's a book.
You have recipes, but it's a book. It's very static. It's also a little bit boring. Sorry. It's just like a cookbook with recipes, and then just add this and this. I mean, and then we thought we can make this a lot more fun, actually. So we decided. Can you show the logo?
Oh, yes. There is
1 second.
something is going to be coming out in a few weeks that we've been working on really hard behind the scenes. This is something even has a logo.
Yeah.
My phone,
So-
my laptop phone.
So we've been actually working on something. It's not going to be a book. Should I tell them a little bit more about it? Because I'm now excited to tell them.
We can't tell too much.
It's going to be in a video format. It's not going to be a book. I mean, what we do best is making videos
Making it fun.
and making it fun. So we want like not a boring cookbook. We want to make some really interesting videos with the recipes and cooking and all that stuff, and just have some fun, make some jokes, and just be ourselves. And
And
we're
I will
gonna
show
be
you the
launching that.
logo in a flash. So keep your eyes peeled because I'm only going to show this for approximately 2 seconds. Anyway, 3, 2, 1. And there we go. That was it. So that is coming. Something is coming in a few weeks. We'll tell you way more about it then.
Yeah, it's still work in progress. I mean, like there's been some things already happening and going on, but we're gonna be launching it officially in about
I'd say
a month, probably a month.
month.
It's gonna take us some time to prepare and already get a lot of
because we want to make this really good.
and make some content for it as well. So
Oh, my dad is saying, can you just plug into like anyone? Can you just say if you can still hear us properly? Because my dad is saying that we need to turn the volume up a little bit because he can't hear us very well anymore.
I think when I look at the microphone levels, it says it's.
Just plug it into the chat if anyone else is having that problem.
Or does Kim's dad need a hearing aid?
You sound fine. You sound good.
Sound good.
Dad, did mom steal the remote and turn us down the volume?
Sorry, Theo. It's time to head to the doctor for a hearing aid.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, that's gonna come in about a month's time. We're gonna be launching it officially, and it's gonna be really cool. I'm super excited about it. Actually, we're gonna be recording later today as well for the
Yeah.
food
Yeah,
stuff.
we are,
And
we
I've
are.
got some great stuff coming up.
Back to rapid fire.
If there's some specific dishes you guys are really interested in, let us know. Let us know in the chat, like what dishes are you really interested in, and then we can make that happen. Since we're going to be making a bunch of videos in the coming weeks for that. So
Okay. No problem with the volume. Back to the questions because
I'm just going to wait 1 second to see what people really want to.
Nake's mom says, "Don't you dare give away the recipe of my garlic sauce." Ooh.
Oh, my mom's on here as well. Hi, Mom.
Like Nathalie.
All right. Oh, thank you for the super chat, Kirsten. Thank you so much.
Oh,
That's going
thank you.
directly into the Antarctica Fund.
And potentially being married by a penguin.
Yeah.
I mean,
Overlanding Sophia is also here. Hi,
hi
guys.
guys, Ben and
Ben and
Chaska.
Chaska.
You saw them in one of our previous videos.
Yeah. They say we vote for campfire cooking. Yeah,
Oh.
that's definitely coming.
Oh, Chris and
campfire.
Marianne.
Oh,
Chris and Marianne are also here. And they say, "Oh, yes, we want a garlic sauce recipe, please." Yeah, Naik made his garlic
Yeah.
sauce, his mom's garlic sauce
Yeah.
for Chris and Marianne.
Yeah, but my mom's on here, so I can't promise anything. She'll find me and track me down. Someone says you could try making the traditional beef stew from Belgium with Mexican ingredients. We can do that actually.
That would be fun.
I mean, it's not gonna be like 100% authentic, but we can do that. Uh-oh. I hit some buttons. My mom says you can give it the secrets.
Oh, we can give it a secret away.
Ooh.
Oh.
Okay, then we need to make a video about it. All right, back to the questions. Okay, that's enough about the cooking. You're gonna hear about it.
There's a car next to our van. Can I turn the screen just ever so slightly? I don't think he realizes. Can you see him here? I think he's trying to pass between the van and the tree that's there. He's given up.
There's a tree that's pretty close to the van, so it's not so easy to walk past it.
It's so funny when people can't see us because these windows are very tinted, but we can see them.
2 people are voting for the Christmas meal, the one that I made with Christmas.
The beurre bourguignon
The
on the campfire.
French beef stew with red wine. Yeah, that's actually I think it's one of my favorite dishes I've made in the last year or so.
Yeah.
It was so good. It was made on the campfire, so. All
Writing
right.
it down.
Oh, Chris and Marianne also here.
I just said that.
Oh, yeah. Your fondue videos have been great. Oh, cheese fondue. We also
Cheese
I
fondue?
love cheese fondue, but it's too hot for cheese fondue. It's 30 degrees here. I'm starting to sweat now. It's
I've been sweating
degrees.
for a while, but
It's 86 degrees for you Americans. All right. More questions.
no questions. Because we don't want to answer them all very quickly, but there are just so many questions, which I love, by the way. So
Okay.
we want to do some rapid fires to get in like a bunch of questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rodrigo asks, what is the plan for getting through Peru? There's no plan at the moment.
There's no plan at the moment. So in Peru, there's
I'm gonna make some more coffee.
oh yes,
You
and I
answer.
would love some tea. So in Peru, there have been political issues, and because of that, what do you call it? Protests.
And roadblocks.
Protests and roadblocks. So literally, parts of the roads in Peru have been blocked. Machu Picchu has been closed down for a while. I think Peru has even been put on a couple of do not travel lists because for a while it just wasn't able to travel to Peru properly with the roadblocks and everything. But we did hear that it's now getting a lot better, and by the time we get to Peru, it's probably going to be September, October. So we think by then,
Probably November even.
or maybe November, we're not sure, and the planning is fluent at best. So by that time, probably a lot will have changed already. So the plan is just to get through Peru. We've been to Peru before. We know, just like everywhere, that people are super, super nice, super friendly, super helpful. If there are some problems, that it's probably still going to be possible to pass through because none of these issues have been targeted at foreigners. Peruvians are just, for a variety of reasons, very upset with the government. And they're protesting, and it's affecting tourism because that is, I think, kind of leverage they have towards the government. But it's not targeted at locals or tourists, so no one's actually being bothered by it like directly, or no one's unsafe in Peru right now, as I understand it.
But as far as I know, even at the worst of times, it was only like a few days that the roads were blocked at a time, and there were still ways to get through. I mean, if you have a bit of patience and wait like 1 or 2 weeks, there were still ways to get through.
So our
it
plan is
wasn't-
just to get through Peru, and if that's not possible, to get through the Amazon rainforest in Brazil somehow. We'll see. That's very tentative.
Oh, and Matt and Jody are on here as well.
Oh, Matt and Jody, you saw
Hi,
them in
guys.
one of our videos as well when we were in Canada.
Yeah.
They were the ones that took us out boat fishing when we were stuck in Regina.
And I caught my first fish on their boat.
Yeah. Hi, guys. And hi,
Hi,
to the
guys.
pups.
Yes, hi to the pups for
To
us.
the doggos.
How's like it's almost been 7-8 months probably, but how's the new place?
How's the house?
Yeah, how's the house? They moved to like a idyllic cabin on a lake, if I'm not mistaken. So, all right. Bobby asks, how long have you been together?
16 years.
16 years. In March it was 16 years.
Yes.
It's a long time, but I'm still
Isn't he lucky?
very happy.
Oh, me too.
Can you open up that window a bit?
Yeah.
It's hot.
Oh, goodness.
Especially with
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
that's better. Oh,
that really helps a lot. Like I said in the beginning of the video, if you see us sweating, it's because we're doing this for you guys. Because normally there is a massive fan up here, but if I turn that on, all you will hear is so it's not so nice.
someone asked, how did you meet? That's a good question. Can you answer that while I take the coffee?
Yeah, you check the coffee. Well, we actually met. We've been together for 16 years, which means as from the time we were 18. But we already met in high school because Naik moved to the. It's not a town. It's a village. The village next to my village, which sounds as though we're in the middle of absolutely nowhere. It kind of is. Anyway, the village next to my village, which means we were on the same school bus. We went to the same school, and when we were 14, that is how we met, on the school bus. Naika is actually 1 year younger than me, so we weren't in the same. Ooh, you are sweating. You are sweating a little bit here.
I'm sorry.
So we weren't in the same class or anything because he's a year younger than me. But that's how we
I'm
met.
gonna put out some deodorant so you guys don't smell me.
So that's how we met. We were actually together for a year and a half then, and then we took well, we just broke up. I was gonna say break, but at the time it was just a breakup. But little did we know we would get together, back together many years later, and we've been together ever since we were 18 now.
Yeah.
So
So actually, like,
we were high school sweethearts
yeah.
for a
So
little
in
bit.
addition to the 16 years we've been together now, we were when we were 14, like 1.5 years as well.
17 and a half. Whoa,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Bobby S, does your AC work? It looks so hot. We don't have any AC
We
in the
don't
van.
have
I
any
mean, we
AC.
have AC like
In the front?
like on the car part, let's say, but we don't have any AC
In the back.
In the back of the
All
van.
we have, well, all we brought with us is this. It's a built-in fan. If you ever buy a van, Max fan.
It works really well.
Works really well. But in this kind of weather, you kind of need to open up the windows, have an extra
Yeah.
fan, etc.
All right. Rodrigo says, "I'm from Peru and I'll help you in any way." Oh, thank you so
Oh,
much.
that's nice.
Karen and Gord ask, "What is your plan to get around the Darien Gap?" So you guys probably just joined. It's been asked before. So I'll just quickly answer it again because it's a question we get so much.
Oh.
So to get around the Darien Gap, it's the gap between Panama and Colombia. The road doesn't continue. There's like a piece of jungle that's like 100 kilometers, 60 miles. You can't drive from Panama to Colombia. So the only way to get across it is to ship from Panama City to Cartagena. Usually it takes about 2-3 days to ship,
Plus some extra time
and some extra time
to get it there, to get it
in
back.
and out the port and blah blah blah. So I know we've been asked that question so many times on YouTube, so I just want to address it
And
again.
maybe a part of it that we have never addressed before. How do we plan to get
Oh,
around?
yeah.
Because that's how Vinny
Yeah.
is gonna get around the
Yeah.
Darien Gap.
So Vinny just goes on a luxury cargo ship.
Oh.
All
I'll have the
all
time
in
of his
cruise
life.
for him. But we can't go. It's like a cargo ship. It's not for us unless we go into the container. But so our plan is actually not to fly from Panama to Colombia, but to take a sailing boat, which is about 4 or 5 days, and you can sail from probably somewhere around Panama City all the way also to Cartagena on a sailing boat for 4 days, and you have to stop at these remote islands in the
Caribbean.
islands, and
It's gonna be.
it's just amazing. Yeah. Did we already mention this?
Oh no, we have another super chat.
Oh, another super chat.
Rebecca.
Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you so much. That's great. Wow. Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you. Straight into Antarctica fun.
Straight into the Antarctica Fund. All right. When are your birthdays?
Mine is June 6th. So in 2 months, I will turn 35. Woohoo! Hooray for me!
Again.
I've survived the first 35 years of my life.
Yeah. My birthday was the 8th of February. So that's a video you saw about 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah, we were a little bit behind at that point.
Yeah,
Obviously.
we were a bit behind, but now actually we're all caught up with our videos.
Yeah. So the video you're gonna see of Cabo is like that's now.
So the video of
Next
Cabo
week?
that was filmed in like the last
Yeah.
week or so.
So then the reason we were very much behind a few weeks ago and now we're all caught up is because we were sick for a couple of weeks, so there was no content being made.
Yeah.
If you saw the last video, you'll know that we got sick for a little bit, so that is how we got caught up to real time. Sometimes life catches up for you.
Yeah, and it's great actually that we're all caught up now again on our videos, because for us it's also more fun if we can post more recent videos. Kind of feels more in real time as well, and it's more fun for us that we like get the adventures we're doing right now. We can edit them and post them like next week instead of 4 weeks later, and it's all. Yeah. All right. Rodrigo says you need to learn how to make lomo saltado. I actually know how to
In
make.
Peru, we did a cooking class,
we-
Rodrigo, miles ahead of you.
In 2014, we actually traveled to Peru and we did a cooking class there. We learned how to make, what was the dish again?
Causa.
Cosa, the one with the layers. It's really good. And we also learned how to make lomo saltado, so I know how to make it. I'll actually,
And when we go to Peru, you'll see it.
yeah, I'll make it when I get to Peru. Quickly, Linda asks, is the smell of cooking not bothering you when you sleep in the same place as you cook and eat?
This
No,
fan.
I mean, this
It's
fan,
really good.
it's really
It's
good.
really, really, really good.
Now it's on like 40-50%, but when I put it on full blast, it's loud in here, but it takes so much air away.
Sometimes when you watch our videos and he's cooking, maybe there's a lot of noise because of the sizzling of the stuff in the pan, but also because of this.
Yeah.
It makes quite a bit of noise, but it's really, really good.
Yeah. Someone asks, what is your first language?
Dutch.
Dutch. Belgium,
Dutch.
we have 3 official languages: Dutch or Flemish. It's kind of the same language. French and German. Like 1% probably speaks German, but
Yeah.
our official language is Dutch.
We speak some French. We
And if you're
actually
wondering how many languages we speak, because we also get that question quite a lot, we speak
Dutch,
Dutch, obviously,
English,
a
obviously.
little bit.
So Dutch, English, and then we speak French, which is not as good as our English, but it used to be like I used to work in French and I wrote like text memos in French and stuff. I used to be really good at it. I could do meetings in French, but those days are behind me because I haven't practiced in a while.
Yeah.
So we have that. Then we have a little bit of Spanish and a teensy bit of German, but
Yeah.
it's limited.
Ein bisschen.
Ein bisschen.
ganz
Guten
toll.
Tag.
Guten Tag, wie geht's? So yeah, those are the languages we speak. And how did we learn them?
Well, Dutch because we grew up with it. It's our native language. English mainly actually by watching TV shows with subtitles. So a lot of countries, especially Spanish and French speaking countries, I think, have American shows that are dubbed.
Yeah.
So for those of you who are in America, you might not be familiar with that because you're in America. But that actually means that the voices in English are swapped out for new voices. They're actually
Yeah.
voice actors dubbing over the English voices so that people can understand it in the other language. But in Belgium, we don't do that. We just keep the English
Yeah.
audio,
And use
but
Dutch
we use
subtitles.
Dutch subtitles. So as from a very young age, as soon as you
So
can read,
subconsciously you start picking up on it. Like,
yeah, as soon as you can read, you basically subconsciously start learning English.
Yeah, and you also you start learning English from when you're 14 years old. You get English in school. French even starts at when you're 12 years old.
A few hours a week.
And then German also when you're 14 years old. So we get all those languages in school. And then in university, I had the option to choose. Like I had French and English also at university for a business degree, and I could choose between either German or Spanish. And I picked Spanish because I already had a little bit of German. So, and I'm really happy that I took Spanish because now
It comes in handy.
it comes in handy. Someone asked, "What kind of tea are you drinking?"
Is this the orange and spice as well?
No, it's the.
That's the mint. It's the peppermint.
Yeah?
I think it's the peppermint.
If you don't taste if it's peppermint. or
Initially, it was a little bit pepperminty, but not so much anymore. I think this person who makes my tea is not particularly good at it. I think it's peppermint. I'll try.
Someone sent us another super chat. Cool places across America. Thank you so much,
Oh,
guys.
thank you. That's amazing.
Gonna be directly into the Antarctica Fund. Okay. More questions. Ooh, that's a good one. Girl bookworm. Girl bookworm. What is your favorite memory so far? Ooh,
Of the trip, that's hard. There are many. I think for me, it's not one single memory. It's many small memories, but that to me have become the most memorable part of the trip.
Mhm.
Is the people we've met along the way.
Yeah.
Because
That's true.
especially in Canada and the US, and of course, Ben and Jessica we just met in Mexico, but I mean like in the quantity of people we met,
Yeah.
more people in Canada and the US.
Yeah, we met so many people.
And it has just been amazing. And some of you are on here, like Matt and
Yeah.
Jody are on here, and
Eric and
Eric's on here. We met many people. We met Chris and Dan. We met. Oh my god,
all the people.
my
we
brain
met.
is getting fried. Oh, we also met Mary and a bunch of our Patreons as well.
Yeah.
It's just been amazing.
And we had a meetup actually in LA as well.
We had a meetup
We
in
met
LA.
up with, how many people showed up? Like
15 people.
15 to 20 people showed up on our meetup in LA that we did. And
Yeah.
It was in October. Right?
I think that is my favorite part because not just because it's fun to meet people who watch our videos. I mean, if people watch our videos, we know they're going to be fun to meet up with because they like our videos. So it's very likely that they like the same stuff as us, that they like good food, like beer, we have lots to talk about, they presumably like travel. So that's a lot of fun. And then also learning part of the culture of a place through those people.
Yeah.
You can ask them all sorts of questions that you can't ask. I mean, you're
Yeah,
just...
like Eric who invited us to the Christmas party. I mean, it was like
Oh, it was...
we haven't like in the movie, like in Europe we have our own Christmas traditions, and I mean it's fairly similar to what people do in the US, but still In the US, at least what we saw in the movies, like they have specific traditions like decorating cookies
We
and
don't have that in Belgium.
like opening lots of presents and playing games and all that stuff. And you see that in movies. And then it was really cool to get invited by American people for Christmas Eve. And then it was pretty much exactly like we saw it in the movie. So it was such a cool
It was
experience.
one of the best Christmases ever.
Yeah.
And that is just so cool. That's so cool. And we know there are a bunch of you, maybe even watching, who offered to meet up as well. And I think especially in the US at some point after Vinny broke down and broke down again and broke down again, we couldn't really meet up with as many people as we would have liked because
Yeah.
we were really strapped for time with our visas. We would have loved to see even more people. And we
Yeah.
got so many offers that we just
Yeah,
haven't.
we got so many like offers and through Instagram, people contacting us through Instagram or even on YouTube, like saying, okay, we live in this place. If you pass by here, you should stop and we can go fishing together or we can have some fun together. And we actually made a whole list of all those people. We want to
An Excel sheet.
yeah,
It was
we
very
made,
official.
We made an Excel sheet by country, by state and province, and we actually wanted to meet up with a bunch of more people than we ended up doing. But yeah, because of the breakdown that we had, and we had to kind of rush it a little bit, so that was a bit unfortunate.
That to me was the best part.
Yeah.
But it was quickly.
Well,
rapid.
for me as well, I think the same thing, like meeting the people. And the one thing that comes to mind, or like the two things actually. First one is Eric who invited us for Christmas, and then the second thing
I know what you're going to say.
is in Alaska,
Yeah.
Danny.
That's the name I was. I couldn't.
If you've seen that video, we got stuck in the sand. We were trying to find a nice spot for fishing. We're trying to catch halibut because Alaska is really famous for halibut fishing. And we were trying to catch halibut from the beach. We drove on to, like, not the beach, but like the road turned a bit sandy and we just got stuck. And there were some people fishing from the beach, and Danny, he ended up pulling us out with his truck. And after he pulled us out, he actually invited us to go back to his home, to his cabin that he owns in Alaska. He was there with his friends. They invited us for a barbecue.
With the
We
whole
had some
group.
beers. We stayed on their property with our van. We had a really good time. And then the next day or the day after, he actually took us out fishing on his boat to go and catch halibut.
Because we
with a
were
group of his
explaining how we were trying to catch halibut and how it wasn't really working, and we've been fishing from shore. We had like been fishing until the wee hours of the morning, just trying desperately to catch a halibut. And he was like, "Oh, I have a boat. I know a really good place to catch halibut. You guys want to come?" Because we were gonna come anyway. We were like,
Yeah.
"Yes, we want to come."
And we ended up staying there for 4 or 5 days,
Yeah.
actually, just hanging out with him. We helped him a bit with his, because he owns this place and it's like an Airbnb property, actually. So he rents out those cabins, and we helped him with a bunch of stuff. And in the evening, every evening we did cooking on the fire, and we had some beers, and that was
And some fish. That was
at
amazing.
a certain point, we didn't put this in the video because my phone was dead. We didn't have our camera on us. We were sitting by the campfire, and Dan was gone for a few minutes doing something.
No, he
And
was there.
no, he wasn't
He
there.
was.
And I was like, Kim, there's a moose behind you in the garden. Kim was like, wow, that's really
Sipping
funny.
my cider.
I'm not going to turn around. I was like, Kim, you should turn around now. There's a moose behind you. And it was actually a moose.
At like for 100 feet away from me, something like that.
Yeah, it was like in his garden. Like, it was right there. So it was such a crazy experience.
This is crazy.
All right. Let's see. So, someone asked, did you watch the Ronde van Vlaanderen, the Tour of Flanders, which is one of the most, it's a cycling race. Actually, it's a very famous one. No, we didn't, actually. I'm
Not
a
so
big,
much into cycling.
I'm not a big fan of cycling. I used to watch it sometimes with my dad, but I don't understand the appeal of it.
No, because
I
only
like-
the very last
Yeah.
bit of it matters.
Yeah, I like watching like soccer games if it's good ones, or basketball games. I used to play basketball. I like watching NBA once in a while when I can. But cycling,
It's not for us. It's
No.
not for us. But I mean,
used
lots of people love it in Belgium.
yeah, it's super popular. It's like crazy how famous and popular it is in Belgium. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Ken and Corrine say, happy to know our names are on the spreadsheet. Lol, too bad it didn't work out. Yeah, you guys were
Yeah.
actually on there. I was gonna say like Ken and Corrine, you were on there. So, but a bunch of other people as well.
And we were just saying yesterday we were kind of thinking like, about stuff we want to do in Mexico. And I told Malik, like, I want to make more time because I know there's going to be a lot less people that watch our videos in Mexico because proportionally our biggest audiences, so to speak, like geographically, are in the US and in Canada and then the UK. So there's not going to be as many people in Mexico watching our videos. But if you are in Mexico, hit us up, like send us an email or send us a comment or something, or on Instagram, because sometimes we can't really get back to you on comments. Instagram is the easiest.
Best way to contact us, if you want to contact us, either send us an email, like my email address somewhere on our channel if you
On
go
the
to the
About
About
page.
page, or send us, like the best way actually is to send us a message on Instagram.
Because we'd love to meet up with more people.
You can also contact us on Facebook, but the problem is that I don't get notification because it's not my personal Facebook page, it's like our Facebook page, like the
A
Naked
joint
page.
Facebook page.
And sorry, but Facebook is really horrible in this regard. Like half of the time I don't even get updates, and then like 3 weeks later I saw there was a message. But
Instagram is the way to go.
yeah. Okay. Oh, thank you, Tim. Tim says, "Could you two be any nicer?" And
Oh.
he says, "It's not possible." Thank
Oh, that's really nice.
you. Let's see. Linda asks, "Do you plan on going diving anytime soon?"
We were talking about it yesterday.
I'd love to go. I mean, we are here in Cabo, and Cabo is pretty good for diving, especially because later today, actually, we're going to Cabo Pulmo, which is also part of Cabo, big part, but it's like 2 hours on the east side. It's like the very remote, nobody lives there almost, part of Cabo. It's Cabo Pulmo. It's really good for scuba diving and snorkeling. But we kind of have to make some choices when we're here. We actually last week. Okay.
Yeah, my
Not
legs are.
Last week we actually went fishing on a fishing boat here because
On a boat.
I mean, Cabo is really famous for fishing as well. Sorry,
We caught a bunch of fish.
we caught a bunch of fish between the two of us. It was really great. So yeah, we kind of we have a sort of fun for doing fun stuff, and we use the fun to go fishing this time.
Yeah.
But we would love to go diving. But we're going snorkeling actually later today or tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it's going to be great as well. It's going to be a little DIY trip, so it's going to be free. But we found some good famous snorkeling spots. So.
Because as beautiful as Baja California is, it's also quite expensive. Scuba diving here is expensive.
Yeah. It's like 1 day of scuba diving for the two of us. It's about probably $350.
And especially now that we have the Antarctica plan, and we kind of don't want to. Not that I consider scuba diving overspending, definitely not, because we definitely love it. But we're kind of still in the process of figuring out how exactly we're going to afford Antarctica, so we don't want to make too many bigger expenses at the moment.
Yeah, but we'd love to go. I mean, we're going to go diving for sure.
The question is when.
Not here, probably in Cabo, but probably maybe
Somewhere
Guatemala,
on the Caribbean
Nicaragua,
side? Costa Rica?
Costa Rica is really good
Maybe
as well.
Panama? I don't know.
Panama is going to be good. Annabelle says, "I'll repeat Ben and Cheska's question." Oh, we missed a question.
Oh,
I mean,
sorry guys.
I'm just picking out questions that I can just find because there's so many. So someone said, "Travel. Do you prefer?" Wait, sorry. Cut. Oh no, that's not possible. Beep beep. So Ben and Cheska and Annabelle ask, do you prefer travel by van or travel with backpack? Which one do you prefer, and pros and cons according to you?
That's a really good
That's
question.
a really good question. I love both actually. So there's not like a definitive answer. Like I really prefer van or backpacking, but for me, I prefer traveling by van.
It's nice. It's really nice.
It's amazing. There's a few reasons. Like one, like it's kind of your own home. You get to take everywhere. So even though we're now in the street of Cabo or whatever beach we're on, or if we go to, if we were in LA or in Utah in some beautiful national park, we always have our own home with us. We have our own bed that we can sleep in.
We can make our own food.
We can make our own food. We have a bunch more stuff actually, like our own cooking utensils. We have spices. We have a bit more clothes.
Fishing gear.
The
entire van's chock full of fishing gear.
It's not true.
It's true.
Do you see any fishing gear here? No.
It's all in the shower. Anyway, yeah, we really love the van. And then that's like the big pro. You can take your home with you wherever you want.
And also, what's really cool is you have your own transportation everywhere. You don't need to rely on public transportation or taxis, and you can get everywhere. Like you can,
Even if there's no
yeah,
transportation.
like you can go to all different spots because usually
Off the
when
beaten path spots
yeah,
that we went to in the
you,
US, for example.
yeah,
Really
usually when we backpacked, like you kind of tend to stay in the more
popular spots
popular spots because it's just easier and better, easier to get to and
and to get around.
yeah, get around. But now, especially like in the US, if we would have backpacked to the US, it would have been like difficult to get around, or we'd have to like
Yeah.
rent cars and then to go somewhere for a few hours and drive back to get the car back and all that stuff. So
And also, what I
it's
really
a lot
love
more versatile.
is when, as you're driving, I can literally work as Naik drives because I have my laptop, I have power. If we're hungry or thirsty, we just stop over by the side of the road, we grab some food from the fridge. It's just like a very comfortable way of traveling. There are, of course, downsides.
Yeah.
The main downside, the biggest of all, and the biggest worry that I have traveling in the van is just when will it break down again? And recently, that question is not no longer will it break down again, but after we've had a bunch of breakdowns, it is when will it break
Yeah.
down again?
I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean it will
No,
break
it doesn't
down.
necessarily, but it's something that we've started
Yeah. So like
considering
the
more and more.
breakdowns have been like a considerable part, especially since it's a European vehicle, and so we didn't know that beforehand. But Ford also exists. I mean, it's from the US.
It's
but
American,
all
yeah.
the parts are just not compatible at all. And we didn't really know that at all. Of course, it makes sense. Like some things are maybe different, but everything we didn't expect. So that's a big part, I think,
Yeah.
of cons. And then backpacking. We also, I mean, we backpacked for two years approximately, and then last year we did a few months as well. Backpacking is great. It's so flexible. It's also, I think, less worries maybe, because also the van. I mean, when you're living in hotels or hostels all the time, there's less work to be done. I mean, for the van, we need to clean it. We need to like make sure that the sheets get washed. We need to fill up our water tank. We need to make sure
Empty our
our
toilet.
toilet gets emptied.
Empty our grey water tank.
We need to go shopping to buy water for drinking and food and all that stuff, which typically you don't have to do that much when you're
In a house.
when you're
'Cause-
backpacking.
But also in a house.
Yeah, I was talking about backpacking.
Yeah, I know, but like also
Yeah.
it's anyway.
So it's
Continue.
like backpacking is in some ways slightly more relaxed in the sense that you don't have to take care of those stuff.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
especially we backpacked
To cheap
to
countries.
cheap countries like East Asia, South America. So
But
even we ate out probably like 80-90% of the time when we were
Yeah.
backpacking, and
it didn't cost us much.
Yeah, it was so cheap that it was
We're-
yeah.
I do think that for the part of the trip we've done so far, Canada and the US, a van is absolutely the way to go if you want to do it budget friendly. I know it can be expensive getting the van across the big pond if you're coming from Europe like us. But for us, because it was almost a year that we've been in this part of the world so far, it was definitely worth it. But just things are much more expensive in Canada and the US compared to other places we would normally backpack to.
Yeah, we wouldn't really backpack to the US.
No.
So
Because it's just not very. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah.
well, I mean, backpacking is great. We loved it. It's also the cool thing also about backpacking is that you can like easily get from one place to another. You don't always have to drive. You can just take a bus or even fly. And what's also really cool, like you can like one day you can be in Thailand, and then 24 hours later you are in Norway, in Oslo, and in the cold, and then if you want to, 24 hours later you're in the south of Spain. So that
The variety is extreme.
is
Yeah.
a lot. It can be a lot bigger when you're backpacking.
That's true.
That's also really cool. But van life, I love it. I love it.
We love Vinny.
Okay. Jen asks, any plans to visit Hawaii? No, we're not going to be visiting. I think that guy needs a new belt on his engine.
Could you hear that? That was a car driving past. Well, we would love to because it looks beautiful, but it's also really expensive. So we would love to.
And
But
we're just, I mean, we can't drive with our van there. And
oh no! But I don't think she necessarily means now. Any
I thought
plans?
now.
Well,
Okay.
but
Oh yeah, I mean in the future we definitely want to.
we want to, but not yet now.
no,
I
no,
think
we're not gonna do it.
We
now
want
on
to
this
do it
trip.
when we can really do it properly.
Yeah, I think also someone asked. I don't know if it was now or on the latest YouTube video. If we're gonna go to like the Galapagos Islands in Ecuador and stuff like that, we're probably not gonna do that because I mean we're already going to Antarctica, going to do a cruise there, and we just want to stick to like traveling with our van for now.
Yeah.
We're not going to be flying off to play. I mean, so it's still possible we change our mind, but
And we would love to. It's
Yeah.
actually one of our highest bucket list things ever to
Yeah.
have to do a dive cruise in the Galapagos. But it's not going to be for this time.
not going
We also need to leave some stuff for like. I mean, we're only in our 30s. Where are we going to travel to if
Yeah.
we do it all now? We need to leave some stuff for the future.
Martina asks, are you planning to travel to Uruguay or Brazil after Argentina? Probably not.
Probably
no.
not.
At the moment, the plan is when we reach Uruguay, Ushuaia, and when we reach the bottom of
Ushuaia.
Argentina, to drive back probably up to Buenos Aires to ship the van back.
And again, also because we're already going to be doing almost every single country that is, let's say, on the left side, on the Pacific side
West. It's called West.
the left side. Yeah, I know.
West.
It's west. The Pacific side, the west. Anyway, on that side of South America, and so we've never been to Brazil, but we want to keep it as something that we can do in the future. Same with Uruguay, Paraguay. We know there's a bunch of other countries there as well, but we don't think we're going to do it on this trip. We can do it at some point in the future to have something else to look forward to. Yeah.
All right.
Make us confused with the questions.
Sorry, where was I? Are you planning? Sean says, how about taking the kayak across the Darien Gap? You can fish the entire crossing.
No.
Yeah, no, that's like a...
Sean, please delete that from your brain. No.
I mean, maybe like one day when I have a lot of experience kayaking, and we would have to get like a really good, proper sea kayak. I mean, the one we're buying now is an inflatable one. It's a nice one. It's a good one as well.
And
but like if I would ever undertake like a larger
crossing
or tour in a kayak, I would buy like a really good big sea kayak.
Yeah.
That's made for expeditions. But
It would be
it's
really
a cool
cool.
idea, though. I mean, imagine the fish I could catch crossing the Darien Gap. Someone asks, how do you fit all the groceries in your refrigerator with a limited space? We actually have I would say, it's not a full-size fridge, but it's like a normal kitchen fridge.
It's
like
not an RV fridge.
we don't have
Wait,
like
I
this,
can- I'm gonna move you guys.
Watch, I would
No?
do it. No.
Okay, it's just like a tabletop fridge.
We bought a new webcam for this live stream, and
Oh, and I
it's
can't
it's
really-
really good quality, but it's like kind of clicked on top of the screen. I think it might fall off.
No.
People might get upset. When
Yeah,
they,
you might be very dizzy. So it's just a tabletop. It's as high as our kitchen countertop.
Yeah.
So it's really
So it's not
reasonable.
like a full-size fridge, but it's still like I think it's like a 125 liters, about 35 gallons. So we
We
can,
shove it in there, and if it doesn't
we can
all fit in there, we leave some stuff out. Like tomatoes don't need to be in a fridge necessarily, things like
Yeah.
that. If it doesn't all fit, we just put a bag on our.
we can fit a lot of groceries in there.
Yeah. There's probably a lot of you watching who have a fridge that's similar size to this one.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, I love this live stream. I really do. Because honestly, I was a little bit nervous for this because this is our first ever live stream on YouTube, and we didn't know how many people would be here. We of course do monthly live streams on our Patreon, but that is a much more intimate group, so it's a smaller setting. It's also nice because it's like really casual,
Yeah.
and you get to go into some questions a bit more in depth.
Yeah.
But here there's lots of questions and lots of people just attending, and I really love that.
Yeah,
So I'm super
great.
happy.
Someone asked, were you able to tour around Halifax at all, other than picking up Vinny and your Canadian snack delivery, for example, the waterfront boardwalk?
We went there.
Yeah.
Did we not film that?
No, I don't think we filmed it.
I filmed it, but it maybe didn't make the cut for some reason.
Yeah.
We went there, yeah.
Yeah, we spent, I think before we picked up Vinny, we were 2-3 days or 4 days in Halifax. Actually, we mostly spent it working, but we walked around a little bit. The boardwalk and the area with like the, there's this bar next to the boardwalk, and we walked around for a bit. And
We didn't do a ton of sightseeing then because we were.
we also went to this really good place, you know,
Oh.
some Irish pub, and I don't remember.
I realized that sounds random, but it had really good food.
Yeah, it was kind of a funny name if I remember correctly.
Shayleys? Something like that?
Some kind of funny name. I don't know. It was this Irish pub at like the corner across from the Five Guys, I think.
Yeah.
And they had really good food there.
Yeah.
Clam chowder and all that stuff. All right, some serious questions.
Serious.
Any plans for children in the future to share your adventures?
Aha.
I think I've seen this pass a few times.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you can answer it.
Um,
This is something I think that we've maybe mentioned it
I mean,
casually.
it's a question we get a lot. Do we want kids in the future? Well, I think the answer is there. We don't know actually at this point. We haven't decided yet.
We're taking our sweet time.
We're
deciding.
we're taking our sweet time. No, I mean, at this point, we're just focusing on doing the trip that we're doing right now, continuing driving the Pan American. And that question is something maybe for next year, where we want to make that decision. I think for us, like, there's like two things. Like, yes, some days
Yeah.
we think like, oh yeah, we'd like some kids. It would be nice to have children and also get to share some of these experiences with them. And it's also kind of an adventure having kids, I guess.
But some days we're
Um,
also like, it sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, and then also we also really love the life that we lead right now. We have a lot of freedom to do what we want and to travel how we want, go and whatever. Um, and having kids would make that a lot more complicated, and some things
Yeah.
wouldn't be possible. But I mean, it's always like pros and cons.
I
and,
guess the thing is kind of that we're both undecided.
Yeah.
If Naik were to wake up tomorrow and say, after we do the Pan American, we are definitely going to be going for kids, I would be
Yeah.
okay, that's fine. Or if I were to be like, okay, I want a kid, then you would probably be like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine, because we're not against it or anything. But
Mhm.
none of us are like, yeah, we should go for it. And so we're both like, maybe we should wait a little bit longer. We're also aware that we don't have 10 years left to decide on this
Yeah.
because, well,
age.
age.
But-
But it's not something.
It's something like we wanna figure out maybe next year or something.
Yeah.
So that's it. Um, Hi Sasha. Hi Dorinda. All right, guys. I noticed there's so many people in here right now. Let us know where you're from. We asked it in the beginning when we started about 1.5. Oh, we're already running for 1.5 hours. I'm just having so much fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Just let us know where you're from. We asked it in the beginning, so we kind of know some people where they're from. But
Just type your country
if you
or
joined
your.
in like the last hour, let us know where you're from and where you're watching from. It's always really cool to know where you guys are watching from. We have people from Cape Town, we have people from Belgium, from Ireland, from the US. We have some people from Mexico, Peru, so many places.
Mucho.
I saw. Someone in Mexico City. Oh, thank you so much, Lara. Oh, Lara La. Thank you so much for the super chat.
Oh, thank you. That's amazing. Thank you.
This person lives in Mexico City, so if we need to play,
Small contribution to the Antarctica Fund.
yeah, thank you so much. Going directly into the Antarctica Fund.
But that's,
And if we get to Mexico City, we will.
I'm gonna
we'll-
write down
contact you.
your name.
Yeah.
But thank you. And I leave that.
Let's see.
Okay, Netherlands.
Oh, we have Andy as well. Hi, Andy.
Ollie!
He's watching from Tonga, our hometown where we used to live. I was actually thinking about you this week, Andy.
Well, that's very random thing to say to someone.
No, I was actually thinking, like, how is Andy doing? Like, I haven't heard from him in such a long time.
You manifested him
Yeah.
being here.
we should. I was actually thinking about diving and like the scuba diving club and all that stuff, and we should meet up when we're back in Belgium. Someone from Barcelona, originally from Uruguay, from
Croatia.
Croatia. Sean is in Manhattan. Oh, Dinden is in Trinidad. I've actually been to Trinidad. Yeah, Trinidad is like the biggest island, right? I've actually been there. I've been to Port of Spain. It was really, really beautiful there. It's crazy parties there.
It was for work.
It was for
But
work.
it doesn't sound like it when you mention the crazy parties, but
Well,
it was
I-
actually for work.
I had to visit there for work. So at my previous job, I would we had this one project where I would spend a few weeks a year, and actually I travel a lot, and I got to visit like these really cool places. Like I went to Dubai, I went to South Africa, Russia, I went to Trinidad, to Colombia, and I had to visit companies to do like a quality check. Like there was this quality label they could get for moving companies. And like it was really important for their business to get it, so they always treated me really nicely. It's like they took me out to like this really best restaurants. They put me in nice hotels and all that stuff.
It was a tough job, but someone had to do it, and it was
tough.
not me, it was him.
Yeah.
And then during that time, he would sometimes be like on 2 to 3 week trips where he would be in a different country every couple days as we were planning to go traveling. And I was just at home like, and I'd see all these pictures of beautiful blue water and cocktails, and then I was like,
I mean, I had to work during the day, but then like in the weekend, because it was so far, I wouldn't fly home, so I spent like 3-4 days in Port of Spain, which is the capital of Trinidad, I guess, in a really nice hotel, and it was great. Anyway, some people from Prague, UK, US, Greece, Germany, Ottawa, Maine, Prague,
Kiwis in Amsterdam, Belgium,
Liège, Amsterdam, Montreal,
more
Canada,
Belgium.
Chile, Croatia, Florida, or Belgium. Oh, that's Gino. Hi, Gino.
Oh,
Thank you.
Hi.
Thank you again for the tip on the reader.
The OBD reader.
KSA. That's Saudi Arabia, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I've been there as well, Saudi Arabia.
For work.
Really interesting country. Canada, Germany, US, Canada, Seattle, Michigan, Portland, Vancouver Island, California,
Whoa.
LA, Lima, Taiwan, El Salvador.
Some of you are in crazy time
England.
zones. Like for some of you, it's almost midnight now, or
Yeah,
even after midnight.
I think someone said it's 1 a.m. there. No? Or no, someone's. No. Wait. Oh, yeah. Mel Lynn says, watching your videos makes me forget a hard day at work sometimes. It's over 1 a.m. here. Leaving the chat soon. We'll be waiting for your next traveling videos and a tiny kitchen from the big guy. Zaid, what kind of... Sorry,
That's
Zaid.
really nice.
Zaid, what kind of question is this? He asked, Belgium or Holland fries? What's wrong with people?
It's Belgian fries. Always Belgian fries.
Always Belgian fries.
We're from Belgium. It's like Belgian or German beer. Belgian beer. Belgian or Swiss chocolate. What do we say? Say it with me. Belgian chocolate.
Belgian chocolate. Belgian beer.
You have to drill it in.
One more time. Which is the best chocolate, fries, or beer?
Belgian.
All right. Oh, Melin says, she's in Taiwan actually, so that's why it's like 1 a.m. there, past 1 a.m. She has been following your videos since the day you arrived Taiwan and never missed one since. Just want to say thank you for those wonderful videos. I laughed and cried with you. Thank you so much.
That's amazing. Great. Thank you so much. That warms my heart.
That's great. Let's see. Someone asked, do you make segments of your trip in your native language if it's not English? No, like all our videos are in English. We don't have any native, like we don't have any other languages that we make our videos in.
No.
I mean, most of the world speaks
English.
I mean, it's most widely spoken language. Probably you're going on that.
Yeah, I know.
Gotta make sure I'm looking good. And
yeah, you're perfect.
So no, yeah, we don't. We just make it in English.
And actually, to us, it's become second nature. I think initially, when we made our first couple of videos, it was kind of weird to speak English amongst ourselves, but on camera. But now, this is the most normal thing in the world.
Yeah.
And also, we spoke a lot of English when we were working. Like most of our work stuff, most of the meetings, etc., were always in English. So already, it was something we really did a lot.
Yeah, and we actually. It may be weird to some people, but we do speak Dutch to each other most of the time. When we're filming, we speak English to each other, like right now. But it's not weird at all for us. And even when we were working, like because in Brussels, it's such an international environment. Like the company I was working at. Funny comment?
Sean just said, I think that was, sorry to interrupt, but Sean just said, I think that was when you asked, where is everybody located? Antarctica. We know you're in New York.
We know you're mad. We can see you, Sean.
Please continue.
So when we were working, actually, like we were in an international environment. So in my team, for example, I had people who were French speaking, who were Dutch native speakers. I had some people from, I don't know, one girl was from Russia, I think, so she was speaking English all the time. So like if I would be with one person and talking, we would be talking in Dutch, and then some other person would join, and all three of us spoke French, so we just switched to French like mid-sentence. And then somebody else, like the girl from Russia, would join, and she didn't speak any French. We just like mid-sentence switched to English. So it's always been like kind of second nature to us as well. Okay, more questions.
why don't I just saw a question? I can't see it now anymore. I think you scrolled past it. I think a lot of people probably wonder this or would like for that to happen. Damn, where did it go? Someone asked, why don't you update Instagram
Oh
regularly?
yeah.
It's a good question. It's also kind of similar to the question, why don't we post on YouTube more often, which we haven't had now, but we've had it in the past or have it implied in the past. Like, it would be nice if you guys would post more often on YouTube and keep us posted on Instagram. I think it boils down to a lack of time because it might not always seem like it from what you guys see on YouTube. You might think it's just a YouTube video. It doesn't take that much time to make Instagram stories, Instagram posts, etc. That is true, and we do want to get to that. But I think right now, because such a small portion of our income is coming from YouTube, we need to do a lot of freelance work.
Yep.
We spend a lot of time just regularly working,
Yeah.
and so it's.
I mean, we need to prioritize what we do with our time. So we need to make sure we have enough money to keep on traveling, and that takes a lot of our time. And then making the YouTube videos and doing the research and keeping up with all the fan stuff,
Yeah.
and editing the videos. It just takes up a lot of time. So we would love to post more videos on YouTube, and we would love to post more on Instagram as well, like stories and a bit more like behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
And we also have our Patreon page where we make some videos and content as well
Yeah.
for our patrons. But yeah, we have to prioritize. I think we want to get back to
Definitely.
posting a bit more on Instagram, but
And
we
there's
also
also
need to
there's also a
prioritize.
few practical things that have prevented us from like posting on Instagram. For example, we only have one phone left with a semi decent camera because Naik dropped his phone and
I'm broken.
his camera is broken and it looks really weird now if you
Where is
film
it?
anything with it.
Maybe we need to plug it in as well.
Maybe you need to plug it in. One moment.
Where's the phone?
And so, like, an Instagram story is easier to make if you can just grab your phone, make the story, and post it right away. But right now, we don't really
I
have.
think it was there last time. So yeah,
Oh, here it's underneath my
it's
little
still at
notebook.
79%. Okay.
Okay,
All right.
and so now
that's
we
that.
don't really have a phone that
Yeah.
films. Well,
Someone asked, "Where are you now?" Yeah, if you just, I mean, we said so at the beginning, but we're right now actually in Los Cabos, in Cabo San Lucas, in Mexico. We're parked here on the street, right next to the beautiful marina here. So that's where we are right now. We've been here for a few weeks actually, because like a month ago, approximately, we got sick, both of us. So we took us 2 weeks actually. So we were sick for like really sick for a week, and then it took us another 4 or 5 days to get like not sick, to get better. And then we also did like a 4-day course.
We'll talk about that in the next video.
In the next video, we did a 4-day course. And we actually rented an Airbnb because actually I saw someone asking, what's the last time you slept in a regular bed, and when did you have your last regular shower? Well, the regular bed
it was an Airbnb that
was an Airbnb last week, and before that it was actually in Canada.
May
In May. But
last year,
so
Canada.
May last year when we were in Halifax, we were in a hotel waiting until we could pick up Finny at the port. And since we picked up Finny at the port, I don't think
We have not slept.
we have not slept outside.
Oh, we have slept, but not outside the
We
van.
have not slept outside the van. So for
not
approximately
even a single
year, we
night.
didn't sleep one night, not in Vinny. And then last week we rented an Airbnb for 5 days to do a course, because it was getting hot in the van, and it's also not so easy with the internet because it was like a live course. So we rented an Airbnb with a nice big screen TV and good internet, so we could do the course. That was
We're
actually-
gonna show you that Airbnb and tell
Yeah.
you more about that in the next video.
and we took some showers there, which is really nice.
And actually, we've been starting to go to the gym.
Yeah.
And the gym is a great way to hack the shower system.
Yeah,
You can just go to the gym and you can have a shower. We went to the gym every day and had a shower with unlimited water every day.
yeah. Sometimes
Whoa.
even hot water.
Yeah.
1 or 2
It's
days
amazing.
out of 2
It's
weeks.
amazing. Next time you pop under your shower, look up, look at all that water, and think to yourself, this is actually pretty good. Because it is actually pretty good. You might not always realize it, but sometimes it's the little stuff.
Yeah. Chris joined. She just popped in. Forgot you were live today. Hi, Chris and
Chris and Dan.
right? Chris and Dan. We also met them when we were.
We were just talking about you guys
Yeah,
a while back, how we love meeting you.
Yeah, someone asked what our favorite experience was on this trip, and we said it's like meeting the people along the way, and
We mentioned you guys as well.
and we mentioned you guys as well. So,
Oh, Sabrina. Hi.
hi Sabrina. Oh, she's in Paris. Are you traveling, Sabrina?
Oh, oh,
Eat
nice.
some croissants for us,
Oh,
please.
some pastries.
Um, someone joins from Ecuador. Hi guys, welcome. See you, Brenda. See you're leaving.
Bye bye.
Um,
How do you manage your wardrobe? You went from freezing temperatures to really warm. Where are your colder clothes?
yeah, that's a good
He's
question.
sitting on 'em.
That's a good question. So, how do we manage our wardrobe? Because, I mean, yeah, indeed, we were in freezing temperatures and now we're in really hot temperatures. Um, actually, we didn't really, like, we made our plan so that normally we wouldn't really be in any cold weather,
Yeah.
the initial plan. And then we ended up staying a bit longer in the US. And
In
actually,
Canada.
like, when it was beginning of December, when it was starting to get cold in the places we were in the US, we actually decided we wanted to do some winter van life and wanted to see some snow.
Yeah.
So it was a conscious choice. But we didn't really pack any like super wintry clothes.
So we just
I have
bought-
I have my hiking boots, so they can serve as like winter shoes. Long pants you have anyway because I mean we wear long pants, and I had like one or two sweaters. So we just bought like
A puffer jacket?
puffer jackets.
Puff,
when we
puffer?
were,
Yeah. Puffer jacket.
puffer.
Yeah.
Puff,
Puff jacket?
like
A winter jacket.
we bought like a cheap winter jacket when we were in LA, I think.
Initially, we were gonna just rough it. We were like, no, we'll just layer up the sweaters. We're not
Yeah.
going to be buying jackets for a few weeks of winter
Yeah.
van life. But then with the breakdown and everything, we ended up doing so much winter van life that we were really happy
Yeah.
that we decided to be sensible and just buy winter jackets.
Yeah, so we bought like a $50
And so when
puffy
we're
winter jacket.
obviously now we don't need them anymore, so all our scarves and stuff we put that in the storage. We reorganize our storage a bit so that the storage that Laik is actually sitting on here has our scarves and stuff, but
Yeah.
our puffer jackets take up so much space that we just stow them underneath the bed. When the
Yeah.
bed is in bed mode, we just put them underneath, and when the bed is not in bed mode, we just put our feet right next to them. They're still under the bed.
Yeah, indeed. Someone says, can you rent winter clothes you will need for Antarctica? If you have to buy everything, you can probably sell them to other travelers before you leave Argentina.
Good plan.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really thought about it. It also depend on what temperatures it will be in Antarctica, because it's when we will be going there in March. It will still be like kind of like summertime,
Summer?
the end of summertime. And as far as I know, it will not be that cold. I know, for example, I think when Karen 8 went there 2 years ago, it was about -1, -5 degrees Celsius. So that's what 30-ish in Fahrenheit,
Yeah.
probably 30, between 20 and
I
30.
think it's the usual temperature is around -10
Yeah.
in Celsius.
So it's probably not going to be that cold in Antarctica.
You never know, of course.
But you never. I mean, we might just buy like a decent winter jacket.
I think we'll need one.
And then we kind of like when it's really cold, we just layer up. You don't like I have like a sweater that's a nice warm sweater, but you can just wear like maybe 2 t-shirts and a long sleeve t-shirt and your sweater on top and like the down puff jacket that we bought. And if we need to, we can just buy like a decent jacket. All right. So Christina says you will be in Antarctica in March 2024. Did I get that right? Yes. So that's the plan.
Yeah.
March 2024, we will be going to Antarctica. We haven't we haven't booked anything yet.
That's also one of the things we're still in the process of figuring out, because when it comes to the funding, how are we going to fund this trip to Antarctica? We were thinking that we can probably find ways, like the one of the things that is a restriction is how early on those trips sell out.
Yeah.
They often start selling it really well like a year in advance, so now is kind of the time and a lot of people will be looking into it. You can already see on some boats that the trips are sold out, so you can wait a really long time until you have all the money and can literally pay it off, like out of pocket, so to speak, before you book it. But then a lot of it's going to be sold out. So that's one of the things that we're kind of trying to figure out. There are also people who want to do what we do and are like, we're on a budget. We're just going to go down to Ushuaia, where we're going, the end of the world in Argentina, and then wait there for cruise ships that have like last minute openings, so people cancel or stuff,
And you can get those at really discounted
at
prices. as
really discounted prices. But then sometimes you can't book the extra activities anymore because like the kayaking and the sleeping on the ice and stuff is so cool. But those book out way ahead. So we're kind of like trying to balance the budget strategy with the being on time to
Yeah. So
to
we're kind of figuring that out.
yeah, we're still
if-
figuring it out.
If we can find like maybe a good deal right now,
Yeah.
maybe we can also book it. But we're still figuring it out. All right. Oh yeah, and then about the clothes part, Rover says, "Do you ever get tired of your clothes and just want to toss them all out and start over?" Actually, yeah.
Nate's going through that right now.
I was thinking about it because I have
How many t-shirts do you have in the van? How many
I have
clothes
no
do you
idea.
have?
I've probably
Because
like
people have no idea.
15 t-shirts.
Yeah, that's way more than we started
Yeah,
with.
like normally I have like maybe 6 or 8 t-shirts, but then like over time I bought like this pack of 5 black t-shirts that I use like when I go for a run or for working out. But I've lost some weight since. Yay to me! I've actually lost 10 kilos. That's
10 kilos, that's about 22, 23 pounds.
22 pounds in the
And I've
last.
lost 5 or 6. 5?
I think so.
5. It's like 12 pounds.
Yeah.
So we're trying to be healthier.
So I'm actually I was actually thinking about in the next few days going through my wardrobe and tossing out a bunch of t-shirts and just buying a few new ones and see what still fits and what doesn't.
I think approximately, because maybe that's interesting for you guys, we have about, let's say, 8 to 10 t-shirts at any given time, like on average.
Yeah.
Because you have a lot of running t-shirts that you would never ever wear for normal
like
stuff.
5 of those 15 t-shirts are just like
And
plain black ones I bought because it's easy. I can just wear them and then just toss them in.
I have 2 pairs of long trousers, 1 pair of like loungy long trousers that I wouldn't really wear outside the van. Well, I would wear them outside the van because I just don't care, but I wouldn't film too much in them. And then I have 2 shorts and 2 sweaters, and you have and a few dresses. And mine is the dresses. Naiki has about the same.
Yeah.
You didn't bring your dresses.
I have probably more shorts. I probably have 4 or 5 shorts. I actually have 2 pairs of running shorts as well.
That's right. Ignore my joke. It was good. I laughed. At least one of you laughed.
What was the joke?
You didn't bring your dresses.
I didn't know. I didn't bring my dresses. I forgot those at home. All right. I'm trying to catch up with all the questions, but I probably like missed a lot of your questions. So if we haven't answered your question yet, just put them in the chat now, because somehow I can't scroll up like very
it's
far,
limited. It's limited.
on my phone. So just put your questions again if we haven't answered them yet, and I will get to them.
If I would have to do this, we would never get through any of the questions because I would just be like, "Oh, look, that's a nice emoji," and I'd get distracted.
All right. Mike asks, how many hours do you freelance per week?
Ah,
That's a good question.
we had the same question a few weeks back on our Patreon live Q&A.
Yeah, to tell me, just freelance as such.
That's a good
It
question.
depends on week by week because mostly how much we work is determined by how much work our clients have.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have like a client come with like, oh, I have this really big project. Do you want it? Oh, we always say yes because we need the money. So like probably like this week it hasn't been that much because we had some big projects in the last few weeks that we finished off. So this week it's probably been 15 to 20 hours.
Yeah.
Like for me and for you, maybe 5 to 10.
Yeah.
But most of the time for me, it's between
Just give them the total. That's easier.
like between the two of us.
Yeah. How much do we? No, in total, if you count up all our hours, how much do we freelance in a week
For the both of us,
combined?
probably like just freelance, probably about 50 hours, 40 to 50 hours between
40
the
to
two
50.
of us. Like most of that would be me, and then because Kim edits our videos, and that's also another 20 to 30 hours a week.
And
so let's say we like between the both of us, we probably work on average between like each of us 40 hours, 45 hours, sometimes 50 hours if it's a busier week.
Yeah.
Sometimes even a bit more.
And
like
that's
if we have,
excluding the filming and stuff because we just
Yeah.
don't count that. That's not work. That's fun.
So yeah, if you ask like why don't you post more on Instagram, well, that's why.
That's why. Because in addition to that, it's like the filming, the driving, cleaning Vinny, getting his water tank filled, all that sort of stuff, emptying the toilet, all those things are not in there.
Nicholas from the UK asks, have you visited most places in Belgium? I love Belgium. Been 3 times. Chocolate and beer is the best.
We visited many places in Belgium just because
Yeah.
we live there and when
Yeah.
we do day trips with family and
I
stuff.
think we've visited like most places we want to go to.
Yeah.
We've
Well,
been,
there's still places
yeah,
left.
just I mean, we've been to Ghent, we've been to Bruges, Antwerp, we've been to the coast, Liège. We lived there, but there's still like a bunch of fairly. I
Lesser
mean,
known.
we only went to Bruges last year, 2 years ago. It's like probably one of the most famous places in Belgium, um, and like there's still a bunch of places like Dinant and places
Yeah.
to visit. But I mean, it's so easy to drive to another country from Belgium. Like driving through the Netherlands is from the town we live in. It's actually 5 minutes. We're across the border, or 10 minutes. Like the nearest German city is about like 45 minutes. The border with France is about 1.5 hour, maybe 2 hours, depending on where you want to go. Like so, we also did a lot of trips to France, for example. Within like a 2-3 hour drive, we would have access to so many places in France. Like
It's
Paris is just 2.5 hours
Belgium is very
driving.
centrally located.
Um, Someone asks, when crossing borders, what do you do when you don't speak the language of the country you're entering and an issue arises? Um, it's a good question. I don't know. Like we've crossed a bunch of borders in the past. Like usually they speak English at the border crossings.
Yeah,
Like
not always.
for example, in the one we did in Thailand and Vietnam. But we never had any issues really, like crossing land
Big
borders, for
borders?
example.
Big issues. I mean,
Yeah, like some small stuff, I don't know, but we never really had any issues because we kind of also do research beforehand, like what kind of stuff you might need, or papers, or visa stuff. Like we crossed the border to into Mongolia and into China and into Vietnam, and we researched it before and made sure we had like the appropriate papers, and we never had any issues
no, so
there.
far we've never. It'll probably come at some point that we get into some
Yeah.
issues at a border.
Yeah,
Probably
so
on this trip.
it didn't really happen, but there's always a way to figure it out. Like either
And even when we were at the Mexico border and there was some confusion and stuff about our van and if we should pay to get it in, just use some Spanish or Google some stuff
Yeah.
or sign language or whatever. Like we obviously speak some Spanish, but not too much. But you can
Mhm.
always figure it out.
yeah,
And sometimes it's actually a superpower to not speak the local language, because then you can kind of play the tourist card, like, oh, perdón, no entiendo, and then they'll be like, yes, just waving through.
Yeah, I do it sometimes when you're like the cops or something ask you something. I'm like, oh, what? Sorry, who? What? I tried actually at the border in Mexico, but they didn't give up, so I had to then speak Spanish. um, Sean says, Kim, I just finished doing my taxes. Would you mind looking over it for me for accuracy? No.
And also, I'm not that into American taxes, Sean, so I
Yeah.
can't help you there.
And I know like the IRS in the US is really strict. If you mix up your taxes, you're going to end up in jail, Sean. So.
But it is tax season now in the US. In case you haven't thought of it, it's tax season. Isn't it like April always? In fact, I don't know the deadlines. I can't advise you on it.
Someone asks, which country is still on your to-do list for backpacking?
I would love to go to Japan.
Oh, yeah.
I would love to go to Japan.
That's also been always high on our list, Japan. We actually wanted to go there after we left Taiwan, last 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But Japan was still closed back then.
'Cause
so
it was
we couldn't
COVID.
Go there, but
Yeah.
Japan. I mean, it's a really cool country with a very unique culture. That's
And Chris and Marianne, who were on earlier, I don't know if they're still on here, but they're going to Japan. They're shipping their van from North America, where we all just met recently, to Japan. And they're going to be spending a bunch of time in Japan doing van life there. How cool is that?
yeah, that's
We're
great.
looking for. We're going to be living vicariously through your videos, guys. No pressure.
Oh yeah, Math has also been in Japan. Yeah, so many people have been in Japan.
Recently, a lot of people.
King It is in or has been in Japan. Karen Nate were in Japan last month.
Who else has been? It was really a
Travel
lot.
Beans also in Japan. Math has also been in Japan. So it seems like a super popular spot at the moment. And for me, like for you, it's Japan. For me, I don't know. For backpacking,
Where would you love to go?
I think South Africa is pretty high on my
Oh,
list
yeah.
as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Just going on a really nice safari and going to Cape Town and maybe do some fishing in South Africa. Who
Of
knows?
course, with the fishing, always with the fishing.
Someone says, "Hello guys, I'm from India. I'm following you both since COVID pandemic. Just want to say I was amazed by your Taiwan series and planned my trip according to your videos." Oh, thank you. It's
Oh,
great
that's
to hear.
great.
We've actually gotten a few messages from people like saying that they loved our Taiwan series and have been using it to plan their videos. And I think recently I got a message from Mike. He's also one of our patrons. He was in Taiwan. He wanted to stay at the apartment that we were staying at in Kaohsiung. It's a really beautiful apartment.
That apartment has made some good money off our videos.
Yeah.
It wasn't a sponsored
so
thing
many,
or anything.
So many people ask us for like, that apartment. Yeah. Someone says you should camper van through Thailand. That would make awesome videos. That would be really
That
cool.
would be really cool.
But I think actually, wasn't it Thailand? Like camper vans aren't allowed in Thailand. I think Chris and Marianne told us about it.
Or is it right-hand drive camper vans? No, I think you're right. Camper vans are. I'm not sure.
I don't remember. There was a country actually.
But that's something that we probably want to do at some point in the future. Like now we're doing this big trip down to Argentina, but at some point in the future, we want to also do a trip from London to Sydney. And so then we will be passing through Southeast Asia in our van and
That
stuff.
would be cool in the future.
That would be really cool.
But not next year.
Not next year.
Someone says, I'm a student in Germany. I am planning my first Europe trip. Any suggestions with some places?
Student in Germany.
In Germany. I
So-
think for me, like two of my, not necessarily my favorite countries, but like really beautiful countries are France and Italy.
France and
think
Italy. I was
France
thinking
and
of Italy
Italy
as
are-
well.
Like Italy is amazing. It has a lot of different stuff. But also since you're in Germany, I don't know where you are in Germany, but if you're close to the French border, definitely go to France.
France. And if you're on a budget, because you're a student, you may be on like a bit of a budget. You can also, if France and Italy are a little bit outside your budget, because they are on like the slightly more expensive scale,
Yeah, especially the bigger cities.
you
are
can
pretty
always
expensive.
go to Eastern Europe. Eastern Europe is
Oh, yeah.
beautiful as well. Way less touristy, super affordable.
Yeah.
A lot of places in
Czech
Eastern Europe,
Republic, Poland.
Poland, a lot of places in Eastern Europe aren't necessarily even more expensive than Asia
Yeah, that's true.
to travel
No,
through.
no,
So
it's
there's many beautiful
And
places
you
to
can
go there
probably
as well.
find some cheap flights from Ryanair,
Ryanair.
the budget company.
Yeah.
Like 2 years ago, we flew from Brussels to Bratislava for €5 each.
Crazy.
That was crazy.
And then from Bratislava to Barcelona for I think 15 euros each.
yeah, 15. 'cause it was
Flights
two
within
flights.
Europe, if you take the budget airlines,
Yeah.
really cheap.
Have you been on a safari? I have been actually. I've traveled for work. I worked for a company called Bridgestone. I worked as a consultant there. I didn't work for Bridgestone, but I had the opportunity to visit a lot of their offices, and they had an office in Joburg, in Johannesburg, in South Africa. And I was there for 2 weeks, and we stayed like the weekend because flying back from South Africa, it's like a 10-hour flight. And me and my colleague, we rented a car, and we actually drove to Kruger National Park, and we stayed there for the weekend and did a safari. We also did it kind of on a budget. It was like $600 for the two of us for the weekend, and we did, I think, 4 different like jeep rides, like in the morning and the evening, and we saw the big 5 in like 2 of those. So that was amazing.
I've never been on a safari. I would love to go to Africa.
Someone says if you haven't seen or heard about the Mongol Rally, those are very adventurous.
We know
Yeah.
the Mongol Rally.
We actually thought about doing it, and we
Yeah.
might still do it in the future.
I think the reason why we haven't really
Water.
considered doing it ourselves is because we've already been to Mongolia and we've already been to Russia as well, and a bunch of other places that the
Yeah.
Mongol Rally passes through. So we were like, we've already kind of done that, so we wanted to do something different. But we actually looked into it for this trip, like as an alternative to this trip. It was on our radar
It was on our radar.
to do that.
With COVID,
It would still be really cool to do that.
If you don't know what the Mongol Rally is, by the way, it's it's a rally where you buy, like the tradition is you buy like this old beater car, like
The worst you can find.
the worst car you can find. You try to drive it from London, where it starts, all the way to Mongolia. It's about, I don't know, 8,000 kilometers or something probably, or maybe more. And like there's no fixed route, so you just go from there to there. It's not really a race as such, like you're not
No.
racing, but just like a rally, and you just try to drive it there. And it's
And
really cool.
you're gonna break down and you're gonna get stuck and stuff. And
Yeah.
if you saw our Mongolia videos, Mongolia is pretty off the beaten path. Driving a car from Mongolia, that is a big adventure.
Yeah. Someone asks if you could only eat one cuisine from the countries you visit for the rest of your life, which one would it be?
For the rest of our
That's a
lives.
difficult one.
We still get Belgium, right? Yeah.
I think Belgian food. I
No,
mean,
but we still get Belgium. I think it's from the countries we visited. We probably.
yeah,
Okay. Let's quickly go through them in my head.
maybe Italian food.
Probably
pasta.
Italian. I mean, Mexico has a really good variety of food.
Yeah, but
But-
like not that.
Or
Like for the rest of your
Thai,
life. Thai. Korean?
Vietnamese.
Ooh, Vietnamese.
Vietnamese is really good though.
Yeah.
They have noodles and brothy soups and
Taiwan also had really good food.
Taiwan also.
Like-
Maybe Taiwan.
Maybe Taiwanese.
Ooh, or China.
Yeah.
China has. I
Yeah,
mean,
but like the cuisines are similar.
it's kind of similar, yeah.
to Taiwan.
Yeah,
Like a
true.
lot of dishes they have as well. Or
We
like,
really love the food in Taiwan. If you're
Yeah.
from Taiwan, we missed your food.
yeah,
It was
just-
really, really good. Maybe
Yeah.
Taiwan. Yeah.
yeah, because the variety is so big and like you have these soups and noodles and all that stuff.
They're spicy and sweeter, and
Fried chicken.
the buns with the pork and now
Yeah.
I'm getting hungry.
Someone asked, how about Australia and New Zealand?
We'd love to go there.
Yeah, we're going to go there in the future. But just that logistically, it's kind of not so easy to get there from Europe.
Because we're literally on the other side
It's
of the
like
world.
literally like 24 hours of flying at least, like a direct flight. Probably more like 30, 35 hours to get there. And also, I mean, it's not so budget friendly to travel there, so we haven't been there backpacking because we stuck to more budget friendly countries.
But we would love to at some point do something like drive from London to Sydney and then maybe on that with Vinny or and then maybe on that same trip go to New Zealand as well.
Yeah.
Doesn't that sound cool?
Someone asked, do you plan on making YouTube videos for the foreseeable future, or do you see yourself settling down and becoming boring mortals? We're still...
How could we
mere
ever be
mortals.
boring, guys? No.
Yeah, I think for the foreseeable future, we will continue making our YouTube videos. We actually really enjoy making these videos. Like, the freelance work, I mean, it's just a means to an end for us to
We do
pay
it
for
'cause
the
we have
travels and pay to be able to make these videos. Because I mean, it just like traveling costs a lot of money, but then making these videos on YouTube also just costs quite a money in terms of like the cameras we have to buy and camera gear that we have and
laptops, which have to be higher end because
Like,
they have to be able to edit
These
stuff.
are pretty expensive.
The hard
laptops that we have
drives and microphones.
So yeah, I mean, but we really love making these YouTube videos. We love like sharing these adventures that we have, and like some of the messages that we've gotten. Like I
Yeah.
haven't read them all, but I've like some of the ones I read, like that we help like making people
Help people go through harder
Sorry.
times, probably.
yeah, and like make their day a little bit better. Like when they had a rough day and they watch our videos and they're
Oh, that's so much
And they
fun. I
feel better,
love those messages.
those kind of messages. Like we love those.
Those are the
Because we
absolute
know-
best.
We know we used to be like that as well. Like we would get home after like a hard days of work and a stressful day, or like your boss
Maybe
was
your
angry
boss was
and somebody else screwed something up, but somehow it was still your fault. You know what I'm talking about. And then you'd get home like stressed and tired, and like watch a travel video and
think about your
Yeah.
next trip and just like immerse yourself in something really fun that makes you smile. And
yeah.
so yeah, we know what that is.
Yeah. Definitely. So someone asks, do you listen to local music as you go from country to country?
We usually have on the radio.
Yeah, we actually have the radio on. We tune it into a local radio station and we listen to some local music. Like here in Mexico, it's definitely been interesting because you have like the local radio stations play some pop music, but some of them also play like, I don't know what it's called, like more traditional old school Mexican music. Like I think it's called banda, and there's some other types of music that they have here, and it sounds very Mexican, very local. It's really cool to listen to that as well. Some of it is like really like fast and intense music. So
And then the Spanish, like it's good for your Spanish
yeah,
okay, rapid fire.
rapid fire.
We have to do some rapid fire. Again, if you have some questions and we haven't answered them yet, put them into the chat.
Okay, someone asked. We've answered this question, but we're just going to.
Okay, rapid
Are
fire.
you going to Santiago, Chile?
We're definitely going to Chile, but we're not entirely sure which spots we're going to go to because we're going to divide our time between Chile and Argentina.
Yeah, so not sure where exactly we're going. As a Belgian, what is your favorite beer? What's your favorite beer, Belgium?
I'm kind of have a sweet tooth, so it's for the sweeter stuff, the fruit beers. It's Kriek
It's like a
Lindemans.
cherry beer.
It's like a cherry beer, and for the normal beer, Stella Artois.
Just a normal. That's like the normal.
That's the normal beer.
Standard beer.
I don't really drink the heavier beers. Naik, what is your favorite beer?
Like
I know what you're gonna say.
in wintertime, I really.
I'm gonna write it down. Did I get it right?
In wintertime, I really like the Chimay Bleu. It's a
Oh.
not so close, Kim. Not so close. In wintertime, I really like the Chimay Bleu. It's like a dark beer that's brewed still traditionally by monks. That's one of my favorite beers, and then probably because it's like a very rich Daisy beer, and probably in summertime I really like Duvel, maybe Duvel. It's like
Duvel's also really good.
it's pretty bitter, hoppy beer, but it's really refreshing as well. But you need to be careful with this one because it gets you drunk really fast.
It does.
Especially when you're in the summer on nice in the sunshine and all that stuff. Can you describe how you do your daily coffee? It's so special. Well, we when we were in the U.S. and Canada, we bought, I would say, proper coffee, like real coffee, and we used the pour over. We bought this. Well, initially we used the cup, and then we would just put the filter in the cup, and then just do a pour over directly in the cup. And then we got a little bit more sophisticated, and we bought like
super fancy.
Yeah, we bought this pour over glass jar thingy with a metal filter that you can reuse.
And then we got to Mexico, and it was harder to find the fancy normal coffee.
And in some places where we were in Mexico, we couldn't really find like normal coffee.
So now the sophistication level has dropped to
again.
Instant coffee. But it's actually reasonably good, this one, and it's easy.
It's easy and
it's a minimum of dishes to do, so that's nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
We
got this. I'm in the zone.
Hannah says, your videos are our motivation and aspiration to ditch our jobs and travel.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's the spirit, Hannah.
That's the spirit.
You should totally do it.
If you want to do it, not everyone has to do this or travel full time. Not everyone wants to do it, and that's completely fine.
If you want to do it,
make it happen.
Make it happen.
You can do it.
Yeah. We also thought it wasn't possible for us. And then we just start thinking about it, like, what do we need to make this a reality? And we made it happen. We made a plan to save up money and to rent out our apartment.
No matter your circumstances, there is for almost anyone a way to do it. You might think, well, I don't make a lot of money, but maybe you can travel around in like cheaper countries, like Vietnam is very cheap, India is very cheap, Southeast Asia in general is really affordable. Or maybe you have a kid and you think, well, traveling with a kid is hard. You've seen people do it.
Yeah.
You've met plenty of people who do it.
And some people also do some work locally. I'll do some volunteering, even at hostels or some other places where you get a free place to live and work for a few hours a day. And there's always options.
Yeah, just if you want to do it, try to make a plan, stick to it, make it happen.
Okay, rapid fire.
Okay, back to rapid fire.
How did you get the idea to live van life?
We'd actually always been interested in it.
Yeah.
We initially started watching Eamon and Beck.
Yeah.
When we were still working, and we used to watch their videos. They were like the original van life vloggers, or at least they are in our opinion. They make great videos. We loved the lifestyle that comes with a van, the freedom of still having your house and stuff. So that's how we got into it, I think.
Yeah. Do you have a Spotify on the road playlist?
Not really.
No,
we mostly listen to local radio.
Yeah, we mostly listen to local radio.
Oh, what's my favorite dessert? I could tell you, but I'd rather show you. It's something that I make, actually.
Yeah. Can you just explain to them?
I would have to.
If you're hungry, stop watching now, because this will make you more.
Because I actually, you never see me cook because Naik is just such a great chef and he really loves it. But when it comes to desserts and sweet stuff, I can make some really good desserts. And the best one I've ever made is I bought a book from this. He's not a Michelin chef, but he's very close to it, and he is specialized.
I think he actually has a Michelin star.
Does he have a Michelin star now?
I'm not sure.
A cookbook. And if you're in Belgium, you might know him, Roger van Damme.
Yeah, he has a Michelin star.
he has a Michelin star, and he's specialized in pastries and dessert style things. I bought his cookbook, and I combined some of his recipes to like what for me is the ultimate chocolate mousse chocolate ball recipe. So it's basically like a chocolate mousse, and then inside of that, in the form of a ball, like um, sometimes you have these ice cubes, like in like a mold, like a ball. I put my chocolate mousse in there, and then I make that, and then inside of that is like a red fruit little ball. So it's basically chocolate mousse with red fruit coulis inside of there, and then I put that in the freezer for a little bit. And once it's frozen solidly, I take it out and I dip it into, what do you call it?
Ganache.
Ganache. So that it's like it's also a dark chocolate ganache. So I dip it in there, and it becomes all beautiful silk chocolatey. And then I make it.
So it's basically chocolate mousse with three types of chocolate. So on
With
the
three
inside
types
you
of
have the
chocolate.
normal chocolate mousse, and then you have the layer with the chocolate mousse with the
Red
red
fruit,
fruits in it, and then around that you have the
dark
nice
chocolate layer,
thick layer of dark chocolate.
and then I make like a passion fruit coulis to go with it. I'm actually going to make that at some point this year, probably closer to Christmas, and we will show it.
Yeah.
It would be amazing.
I'm just trying to find a picture of it somehow, but
But the Roger von Damme doesn't make that.
No?
It's just me. I combined the best of his
I
recipes
thought
too.
It was part of his.
No, it's not. It's not. And it's amazing. It really is amazing. Nake's mom, who's not a big fan of desserts, she loves my dessert.
She loves it.
Or at least so she tells me. Okay.
Do, do, do.
Someone says, "Are you still here? I already finished
Yeah,
cooking."
we are. We're gonna continue for about another probably 15 minutes, and it's been 2.5 hours, I think.
So put all of your questions in
Yeah.
there. Put all of your questions in there. If you have any questions about Antarctica, questions about us, about our travels, about, I don't know, our relationship, whatever. And also let us know what you thought of the live stream, because we really enjoyed it.
But we're gonna still go on for about 15 more minutes.
Yeah, so don't go anywhere. Just give us questions.
Okay. How many languages do you speak? We've answered this question before, but quickly.
Dutch, English, French, a little bit of Spanish, teensy bit of German, 5.
So about 5 languages. Are there any changes you would make to the inside of your van?
Oh,
There are.
yeah.
Yeah, we've actually been really thinking about it. There are some changes we would make, but the biggest one probably is the water. What do you call it?
The water reservoir.
Water
We have a
reservoir.
125 liter, that is about 30 gallons reservoir underneath our bed. And we put it inside the van, not underneath the van. Our gray water tank, our dirty water tank, is underneath the van, not inside the van. Because we thought that our fresh water wouldn't freeze if we put it inside the van. If it's really cold. Newsflash, it does. It does freeze.
Yeah. Look, we went up to the Arctic Circle when we started doing van life, and I mean when it freezes, like the pipes are on the inside, like our whole water system is on the inside. But like when it really freezes, I mean underneath the bed,
If it's minus 30?
it starts freezing a bit as well.
And we and now
it takes up a lot of space because I mean you can imagine like a 125 liter tank is big. So it takes up a lot of space and real estate inside of our van. And the biggest problem we have with our van actually is that we don't have a lot of storage place for bigger items. Like my fishing rods, I keep them in the shower because we don't.
it's just so practical.
We can't really store them anywhere. And we have, like, for example, we have a jug of diesel as well, spare one, that we keep, but we can't really store it anywhere.
If you move slightly here, you see that those jugs of water, those gallon-sized jugs of water. We don't have any storage to put those in, so we always kind of leave them out. So we're kind of lacking storage for big stuff.
Yeah.
And we were thinking of maybe even in the next couple months, if we have some like a breakdown at any point or something, just chucking the water tank out. We have to literally cut it out.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we have to deconstruct our bed.
I would do it. I mean, it's not that hard to put the tank underneath the van and just make a few brackets and just attach it and then run the water hose from the pump just through the van. It's pretty easy. But the problem is, like, this water tank, it was placed in when I was building the bed, and it's kind of, because it's so big, it's kind of constructed into the bed's being constructed around it, so I can't just take it out. So we'd probably, like, either would have to break apart, like
we're not going to break apart the bed.
Disassemble the bed, but that wouldn't be a good idea.
Cut it up.
So we'd have to, like, cut up the whole tank and buy a new one.
We're gonna be doing this right now, Naik. Grab the knife.
So it's kind of like a big thing to do, but
Yeah, but that is the main thing we need to change.
All right. What hobbies do you have while traveling apart from fishing and playing ukulele? Do you have any other hobbies?
Oh, we love scuba diving, but we don't do it that frequently that we really call
Yeah.
it a hobby.
Yeah, it's probably
mean,
probably with fishing my favorite thing.
The
to do is
number
scuba
one
diving.
thing that we spend all of our free time on is just YouTube.
Yeah.
Even when we're not editing a video, we're thinking about YouTube, about how to make these videos better, or like if
planning, just planning. what we're
planning
gonna
stuff,
do.
and because we really like doing it. We're not
Yeah.
doing this specifically for the money, believe me.
No.
We would have been out of business a while ago.
Someone says, I absolutely love this live Q&A and your positivity. Looking forward to your next video.
Oh, thank you, Linda. That's amazing.
If any of you guys want to see more Q&As, like this is our first one actually on YouTube.
Yeah.
But on our Patreon page, it's like a membership page that we have where you can also support us financially a little bit every month. We do this every month. And actually in about 3 weeks time probably,
Yeah.
we're going to be doing our first live stream, but on Zoom. So we can have some of you guys also on Zoom as well. And
If you want to, like, we can just like, we can see you, you can see us.
A little cheeky plug for our Patreon page.
Yeah, but it is, and also it's a little bit easier on Patreon to address all the questions because it's a more intimate group. There aren't as many people as there are here.
Because this is still like public for the whole world to see. So
I mean, as you saw, without a doubt, on the screen, at the height of it, there were 1.6 million people in this stream. That's why it's so busy.
Yeah, so you mean millions of people?
Millions. Everyone.
Some people have been. I've seen this question a few times. Are we going to meet up with Eamon and Beck, who are also like in Playa Cerritos, a little bit further?
That's a little bit north of here.
Yeah, it's not that far from us actually. We were thinking about like passing through there when we were in Todos Santos, but then we got sick when we were there, and we came to Cabos to get tested for COVID.
We're not planning on going back
up there. We're not planning on going back up there. It would have been cool to meet them, but I think they're also like really busy.
They're really busy
with all the stuff that they're doing, so we don't want to intrude on all their stuff. Someone asked, we have seen you worried and concerned, but have you ever been afraid during your travels?
Proper afraid.
I haven't.
Not yet.
No, no. I mean, maybe it will happen.
Well, afraid. You're probably going to see me afraid in a little bit. This is going to sound like cheeky almost, but so I have never, ever traveled in our van outside of Belgium by myself. And I feel like I sometimes rely a little bit too much on Mike because he navigates, he drives. I mean, I can cook. That's not what I'm talking about. But like he looks for our park ups and stuff. And I just want to experience what it's like to do it all by myself. So in a few weeks, I'm gonna kick Naik out of the van temporarily, and I'm going to do a road trip in Mexico by myself. And I don't mean afraid as in afraid for my life afraid. At least I hope not.
Well, it's gonna be
but it's gonna be a little bit scary for me. But I think it would give me such a boost in confidence to prove to myself that I can do this. And obviously we're gonna be filming it, and I think it's gonna be an interesting video.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be really, really cool. And it's the first time ever doing this, so you definitely should keep an eye out for that. And keep your fingers crossed. No, I'll be fine. Mom and Dad, I'll be fine. Yeah. I'm a grown woman. Strong, independent woman. Yeah. Oh, Joseph, thank you for the super chat. That's really nice. It's going into the Antarctica Fund.
Thank you so much for that super chat. Okay, languages, changes.
Is it too dangerous to sit in the back of the van while someone is driving? I would say yes.
Yeah, I mean, there's no seat belts or any safety features in the back. There's no like official seats.
And even if someone doesn't drive into you or something, Mexico has these crazy speed bumps. They're called topes. They usually are not announced.
Sometimes it's surprise, tope.
And it's like not a long speed bump. It's literally like.
Yeah.
And so if you go at full speed,
but sometimes they're not marked, and sometimes they're like right in the shade of a tree, so you can see them. And we've run over a few of them. Yeah. And it can actually be a little bit dangerous because it can damage your car even.
And it has damaged if you remember our fairy lights that we had in the bag, those were the first victim that fell to the Mexican topes.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
Real quick, someone asked, how are we going to cross the Darien Gap?
It's probably one of the most
We've talked about it twice before, and just because so many people ask, I'm going to say it again in case you weren't here. We're going to ship Vinny. Because he can't drive from Panama to Colombia. We're just going to put him on a boat and ship him. And we're going to go on a different boat, a pleasure boat, and cruise past some islands and stuff, so on a boat.
Yeah.
Takes about 2 days.
Someone says that that dessert sounds lush. Please add it to Nike's Tiny Kitchen.
Yeah,
Oh, we're gonna do that.
we were thinking of doing that.
Yeah, so it's gonna be like mostly me cooking in Nike's Tiny Kitchen, but we're gonna have some guest appearances as well because
Or intruders.
Kim is the dessert master.
Ooh, I like that.
Kipar asks, beyond direct donations, what offers you the most financial gain? Subscriptions, likes, shares, and comments. Oh yeah, that's actually an interesting question. Like how we make money off of YouTube is actually by views. Like it doesn't matter if we have 10,000 or a million subscribers as such, or how many likes or comments we get. Doesn't I mean in
Not
terms of
directly.
direct financial gain. Like direct financial gain is only the views we get. Like we get a certain amount of money for every, let's say, 1,000 views we get. So if our video gets 1,000 views, maybe it gets like I don't know, $10 or something.
I would say between 7 and 10 is probably the average per 1,000
So let's say 10 just for easy counting. So if we get 10,000 views, it's $100. If we get a million views, it's $10,000. So it's kind of like directly correlated.
That immediately also kind of reveals how much we make off our YouTube channel if you look at our views.
Yeah. It's actually less. On average, it's like $5
It's
$5 per 1,000 views. So if we get like, let's say, roughly 200,000 views in a month, we get about $1,000 from YouTube. That's directly
Roughly.
from YouTube.
200,000 views,
And
yeah.
So likes and comments and subscriptions like don't get us money directly, but if you like our video or comment on it, it lets YouTube know like you like our video and you're engaging with it as the term is, and then YouTube is like, oh, this video is good, I'm gonna try to show it to more people. So like liking and commenting
does help.
really helps
And
us.
if you really want to amplify that effect, what it helps us out tremendously because it brings more people into our channel, and if they come over, hopefully they like it and they stick around, is sharing. Like if you have a Facebook page and you're really excited about our videos, you can always share it. You don't need to do this, but just in case you want to, you can always share it with your friends and family and be like, hey, this is cool, you can check it out. And
yeah, if you have some friends and family that are really interested in travel, just tell them about this. If your grandma is interested,
tell them about these awesome people. This is us. I mean us.
Nicola asks, have you ever considered living in another country? We have actually considered
we came this close to moving to Switzerland.
Yeah, before we started traveling, 3 years before we started traveling, 2016, part of our plan to travel for a year full time was making more money because it's easier if you have a little bit more money saved up. And in Belgium, wages are pretty good, but in Switzerland, wages are a lot higher. Cost of living is also higher, but
I think it still works out better.
Yeah, if you can like live a bit frugally in Switzerland, you can save up more money more easily than in Belgium, let's say. So we actually tried to move to Switzerland.
I even went to apply for jobs and stuff, and I got an offer in the end to do it, but it wasn't as good as it didn't work out in every way as we would have
because
hoped.
she's a lawyer. I mean, tax systems are specific to every country, so for her it's not, I mean, that easy to transfer to another country.
No.
For me, it probably would have been easier.
But we ended up just staying in Belgium, and it worked out great, actually.
Yeah. And, well, lately we haven't really been considering living in another country.
No.
We just love traveling around so much. And maybe in the future we might live in another. Well, I mean, I also like living in Belgium with my family and friends. And
yeah. We have at one point, like every time we come back to Mexico, we're like, we could so live here. We could really live in Mexico.
Yeah.
But we're not planning on it anytime soon.
Yeah. Some people are saying that it's a really nice live stream, the best live stream I've seen in a long time.
Oh, thank you, Alyssa.
Tom also, and Annabelle says you guys did an awesome job at handling a big group, so thank you.
Oh, that's really nice that you guys like it. Big thumbs up for you guys as well.
Joseph.
Oh, see what I said below my super chat says?
Can we still go back?
Oh, that. A train in Chile is a school bus.
Train in Chile is so cool. Sorry, Joseph, what do you mean? Joseph said, a train in Chile is a school bus. So cool. Is it like a train?
Oh, they probably somehow converted it into a school bus or something. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna look it up, Joseph. Thanks for letting us know. Linda says, will you do one of your 10 versus 100 euro spend per day during van life? We might actually.
You might?
It's a cool concept. We really loved making those videos. Actually, we did it in Where did we do it? In
Turkey?
Paris and in Turkey and in
Croatia?
Croatia.
It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun doing that because like the $10 one had to be like
A bit frugal.
a bit frugal and creative to survive for a day on $10.
And for some reason, I always got to do $10 in the countries where that was easiest.
Yeah, I did 10 twice probably. I did it in Paris and in
Croatia.
Croatia,
I got Turkey.
and I did the $100 in Turkey.
Those were actually a lot of fun. We might do that. It's a good idea.
What tips do you have for driving a van versus a car?
It's big. I mean, it's obvious, but
In terms of just driving, it's not that different, I would say, because I mean, you're just moving forward. It's a little bit bigger.
the main
Um,
thing driving technically would be careful in your turns. Because it's a long vehicle,
Yeah.
and you have to you can't take the turn as sharply as you would in a
So you
car.
need to take a little bit of a wider turn. But other than that, I mean, it's been actually pretty easy to drive the van.
Yeah,
The
has.
van is 6.7 meters. That's 22 feet.
And
I think,
especially if you're from the
um,
US, you're not going to have a lot of trouble driving a van because the parking lots and the roads in the
No.
US are massive. We even fit, like mom and dad or other people watching from Belgium or Europe, our van, which is 6.7 meters long, that's about 21 feet, fits in a normal 21, 22 feet, fits in a normal parking lot at a supermarket in the US.
Yeah. And-
At home, we need like a big one or sometimes two.
Yeah. Someone asks, "Are we married?" We've already answered that question, but no, we're not married.
No, and we don't really plan on getting married.
We've been together for 16 years, but we're not really planning on getting married
We're
it's not
solid.
Not a priority for us to get married.
And in Belgium, a lot of people aren't married, so
That was the next question. How long have you been married? Oh, yeah. Do you have any children? No,
No.
we don't have any children. So just the two of us. Emma says, if all your things are stored in the shower, how often do you get to shower?
we just leave. We just store in the shower.
We don't have that much stuff stored in the shower. We just have my fishing rods are like in the corner of the shower. 2 of them, 3 of them.
And we can take them out.
And we have the jug of diesel that we sometimes put in the shower when we're driving, just because then it doesn't move around. But that's it. Like there's no other stuff stored in the shower. So if we just take out the jug, we can shower. Like the fishing rods. I mean,
Yeah.
they can take some water designs for it.
Yeah.
And how often do we shower?
It kind of depends.
Depends on the weather.
The weather, the water,
Yeah.
what we get up to. But we can't always take a normal shower when we would like to because of water restrictions and stuff. But what we can always do, and those of you who live in a van are probably familiar with this concept, as a sink shower. We have
Yeah.
a massive sink, and we can put like water in the sink and just wash up like this.
Or
and-
sometimes we just do like a 2-3 minute rinse, so you rinse it off and
Yeah.
like a really quick wash.
I can wash my hair in the sink as well, and I can literally do it with like a bottle of water and
Yeah.
like this, which
Yeah.
uses up a lot less water than a shower.
But for the past 2 weeks, for example, we've been showering pretty much every day because we had a gym membership at the gym here in Cabo, and we've been going to the gym every day probably. And we showered there every day, so that was really nice.
That was really nice. I took long showers. I use up all their water.
But yeah, sometimes we have to go for a few days without a shower. If like we run out of water, we can't have a place to fill it up immediately, and then van life.
Fan life.
Married.
Someone said, I love hearing about the analytics of YouTube and how much you make and stuff.
Yeah. If you want to talk about it more, send us a
If-
message. We're always interested.
And
to-
if you have any questions like that about YouTube stuff or how much we make or what do we make our money off, we don't have any. I mean, we don't.
we have any big. It's not like we're making $1 million a month. I mean,
It's not like we can divulge our secrets of how we get 5 million views on every
Yeah.
video because we haven't figured the secret out. If you have it, you can tell us.
yeah, like I don't know, like for example, if you want to know our income, I mean, our income for YouTube, it's about $700 to $1,000 for YouTube directly. So what we get from
The ads.
views we have on our video.
Yeah.
Then if we do,
That comes off ads that YouTube puts on our videos.
Yeah.
And the more of you watch a video, the more of you
Yeah.
see the ads. And
And then another part of our income is doing sponsorship for countries, but for brands. But we don't do those a lot because, I mean, we only want to promote stuff that we really like. Like we've done Surfshark probably for a bunch of times because we've Surfshark like every day for the past 3 or 4 years. It's such a great service for like $2 a month.
We've done LingoPie, we've done
LingoPie is really
Skillshare,
cool as well.
a bunch of others. We're probably going to do a bit more sponsorships in the future because that's going to help us reach our goal for Antarctica. But we always only use sponsorships for things that we really enjoy and that we think are really cool ideas. But we have a bunch of cool plans.
And that's a couple of $100. Like, I don't want to say how much. Not that
we can't really.
Yeah, because we don't, like those brands, we have a contract with them and stuff like that. We can't say how much. It's a couple hundred. Let's say a couple $100.
It's dependent on your views. And let's just say if your views double, your rate almost also doubles.
Yeah, they pay for the amount of views that you get, probably. And then the other thing we have is our Patreon. That's about $500 to $700 a month, roughly.
Because we now have, I think, Patreon and YouTube members combined, we are almost at 100 members.
Yeah, we almost have 100 members in our Patreon and YouTube membership combined. And that's really cool. I mean, we also love that a lot because it's more like behind the scenes and we get to share a bit more of some private stuff that we don't necessarily always can share on YouTube.
But not everyone wants to see on YouTube.
I mean, people come for like our travel videos and more exciting stuff. And
if you are a patron, we have a behind the scenes videos coming about behind the scenes video one coming. I think today, if you can still get it uploaded, about what a normal day in our life is like.
Yeah. And that makes about 5.7. Like, so our fixed income off of YouTube is about probably like $1,200 to $1,700.
Excluding brand
deals, and then if we do brand deals, a couple hundred more.
But obviously, that's for two people. And
that's before taxes. Before we pay $300 each Social Security. So I mean, that's already $600, and then we pay taxes. It doesn't cover any of our costs, really.
Basically, we just do YouTube because we really like it.
Yeah.
And to some extent, also to come back to the question that someone asked, how long do you see yourself doing YouTube? Well, to some extent, it will depend on how our channel continues to do.
Like, if we could get more views and a bit more income off of our YouTube stuff that we do, it would also allow us to do it longer and do more videos and better videos in the future. But
we'll see. But we're on that.
Most of our income still comes from the freelance work we do. Because, I mean, $1,500 in the US doesn't take too much. Okay, some people have been asking...
I would love to know how you deal with hate and negative comments. You typically just delete these comments or let them fly. Interesting question.
So the question is about negative... Because you talk really fast. So the question is, how do we deal with negative comments that we get on YouTube?
I feel like we don't get as many as we initially thought we would.
No, we don't get a lot of negative comments. Like, sometimes negative a bit, but like really hateful ones, very rarely.
I mean, a few days ago there was someone who called us knuckleheads, and someone else who said we were naive and stuff. And I don't think that's just, we don't really care.
Yeah.
And personally, what I always think, 99% of our comments are just people being awesome. Like saying cool stuff that they experience in the spot that our video is about, or saying something nice about us, how much they like our videos, etc., etc. And when there is someone who is just spewing hate on the internet to strangers that you don't even personally know, our mind goes to like, it's kind of sad for them.
Yeah.
It doesn't really get to me because you don't know me if you hate like that. And
like the people who watch our videos obviously like love our videos and like watching them. And out of 100 comments, maybe one is a negative one, and then maybe 1 in 200 comments, like 300
really
comments,
hateful.
like a slightly hateful comment. But if it's like really negative and hateful, we delete those comments because we don't want to create that negative environment.
Oh, and sometimes the comments aren't even negative about us or hateful. Sometimes also about the country we're in, and the people in the country we're in, and we're just like, we delete that. Because I think that just makes sense. I mean, if you had a Facebook page and someone went to call you dumb, or I don't know, said you had to lose weight on your Facebook page, would you leave it up? No. So why would we leave it up on our YouTube channel?
But if it's like slightly negative about us, I mean, I don't mind. I mean,
no.
If it's sometimes it's also just valid criticism, maybe of some things that we do stuff wrong sometimes, just say stuff wrong.
Yeah, we don't really care as much. But then the thing is, the way we deal with it is we don't let it get to us. Just know if you have a YouTube channel, or just in general, if you have people in your life who are not that kind towards you, it's probably not you. The problem is probably something bad that has happened to them in that day or in that week or in their life that they're kind of projecting onto you. So try not to feel bad about it. Try to just think like, I'm sorry I feel that way, because
Sorry
they
for
must
you.
not be feeling very great
Yeah.
to project that onto you or onto me.
Yeah.
Deep stuff. I know. I could be a life coach. I totally could.
Someone asked, do you have any plans to come to Brazil? Probably not on this trip.
No.
I think we've mentioned it a little bit before, but we're going down to Argentina and then ship the van back from Argentina. Brazil is pretty high on our list, actually, of countries to visit. But
I would love to go to Brazil.
I mean, we want to take proper time to go to Brazil and explore it, like
And
quite
I
a
also
lot.
think that the van is not necessarily the best way to travel around in Brazil because of
No.
the Amazon.
Yeah,
I would
it's
love
not
to do like
s-
a
I think-
cruise on the Amazon and stuff, and it
Yeah.
might be harder to navigate with Vinny. So we're keeping that, we're saving that for the future.
Yeah. What's your average budget for a week?
It kind of depends. Our budget for the Pan American has been kind of a unique type of budget because we also have these big costs occasionally. Like, for example, when we shipped our van from Belgium to Canada, it cost us about $4,000 in US dollars to do that. When we're going to ship our van from Panama to Colombia to cross the Darien Gap, it's going to cost us about $5,500.
Yeah.
And we have to budget for those as well. So every month we try to earn $1,000 more, roughly, to pay for shippings and stuff. But our actual budget, I would have to check. I don't know it by heart.
It's kind of hard because we don't have. I mean, it like a big cost is the fuel. So probably like depending on what you drive,
$500 a month
$500 to sometimes $1,000 a month.
because we do all these massive distances.
Because I mean, driving from Alaska back down, for example, to say mainland U.S., that's 40 hours of driving and probably I don't
A
know,
lot of-
$500. Just that trip alone was like $500 in terms of gas. So we don't really have that much of a fixed budget. We kind of have a budget for food and
I think the budget for food and activities per week is $400. Am I right? But that includes food, restaurant, all activities, everything.
Mm.
That's
Yeah.
our budget. And like for example, like we mentioned earlier, scuba diving. We'd love to go scuba diving, but that would like seriously be out of the budget. So
Yeah.
if we go eat a taco, if we go have a beer, if we go get groceries, if we go visit something, that's all part of that budget. And then in addition to that, we have a budget for gas. We have a small budget for like shopping, for clothes and stuff, for getting our laundry done, for buying data so that we have internet, which we need to work and to upload, etc.
Yeah.
And then we also have a budget for travel insurance and things like that. But I think the budget to eat and stuff and to live off and do activities a week is $400.
probably.
We'd love for it to be more in the future. And hopefully at some point it will, but
Sherry says, Kim, is your dad a chef?
no, but he's a really good cook as
He's
well.
actually a really good cook.
And they've cooked together.
And Kim's mom is also a really good
And my
cook.
mom as well.
She's an excellent cook, and her dad is also a really good cook.
Oh, and if you
Um,
want to see my parents in action, there is actually, if you watch our oldest Belgian food tour video,
Yeah,
my
we have
parents
two,
are at the
we
end
have
of it
two
cooking.
videos about food in Belgium. Like the first one, there's Kim's mom and dad.
Yeah, it's at their house.
Someone asked, how did I learn to cook so well? I answered this question before, so I'm just going to really answer it again because we get this question so much, and I've never answered it before, actually, except today.
That's the thing about these live streams. You get to talk about all sorts of stuff that you just can't squeeze into the normal
Yeah,
videos.
exactly. So the way I learned how to cook is from my family, actually. Like, my mom's a really good cook. My grandmother, she passed away 4 years
4
ago.
years ago.
Sorry, a long time, 4 years. She was a really good cook. Her sister, my great aunt, she's also a really good cook. She passed away like a few months ago. And actually, as a kid growing up, I just really love food. I still love food. Very passionate about food. That's how I learned to cook from my family. Like my great aunt, probably the most, because I used to spend a lot of time there as a kid and school holidays. Because I'm the only, like, say, grandchild on that side of the family. And I got to go there from being a little kid, and she cooked every day, twice a day, fresh meals. And that's mostly how I
That's
learned
where
to
you
cook.
learned.
Will says, I think Nike is really handsome.
I think
Thank
he's really
you.
handsome as well. And he has a new t-shirt.
Bought it yesterday.
He's
Can I save this comment?
gonna be looking at that daily, every morning.
Ian asks, how long do you need to wear your clothes and underwear because you can't wash them everywhere?
We actually have, I mean, if you have 10 t-shirts
Yeah.
and you do laundry roughly once every 2 weeks or something, you're set.
Yeah.
The pants, we don't have that many pants, but pants I feel you can wear for quite some time.
Yeah, the pants you can wear for a few days. Like t-shirts, if it's not that warm, I can wear it for probably like 2 days.
We try to
Sometimes
do
3
laundry.
days if we do the sniff test. But like here in Cabo, it's like 30 degrees, so I just wear my t-shirt.
Yeah, it depends. I mean,
But-
we try to do laundry every week, but it doesn't always work out. So we try to aim for like between once every week and once every 2 weeks.
yeah,
Roughly.
but we have enough like underwear and t-shirts to last us for a while. So, yeah.
Oh, we are. Where are we? Says it's super interesting to hear probably about the financial stuff of YouTube. We're a few subs away from monetization, so it's cool to hear about how it works from long-time
Yeah.
YouTubers.
If you want to talk YouTube, send us a message on Instagram. I'm happy to share some things that we know. And I'm not to do YouTube sometimes.
Sean says, just once, can I hear you guys say Baja instead of Baka?
We say
We always
Baja.
say Baja.
Baja.
Baja. Ah, Baja.
Baja. Baja. Baja.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we say Baja because it's in Spanish, but I know in the US people call it Baja.
Yeah, I think in the US people say Baja California,
Okay,
but it's in
for
Spanish.
Sean.
I think it's
For Sean.
Baja.
3, 2, 1, Baja.
Jan asks, "Will you go scuba diving in Mexico?" I think we touched upon that earlier, but probably not in Mexico because like the best scuba diving in Mexico probably is here around Cabo and in Cozumel as well, but it's on the other side. And sorry, I ran out. I like my brain just stopped for a moment there. I think we've been going on for too long.
We were gonna do 15 more minutes. That's what we said half an hour ago.
Yeah, so my brain just stopped. We were thinking about going scuba diving here in Cabo, but we actually went fishing, and since those activities are really expensive, like going scuba diving for a day for the two of us, $350, and so we had to make some choices, and we went fishing this time. But we're gonna go scuba diving on this trip for sure because it's still like one of my
At some point.
favorite activities.
What do you like best about your partner? You go first. What do you like best about me?
What I like best about you is Kim's like a really hard worker and like driven to like all the edits, the videos you see on YouTube, she edits them, and it's really a lot of work because we sometimes have like 2-3 hours of footage, and then we make like one a nice video with like music and a bit of story behind it, not just a bunch of random clips. And she does that really, really well. So like really bad. But like what I like best about you is how positive you've been like the last few weeks. And
Yeah, that is. We've been making an effort to be like more positive.
Yeah.
And to focus more on positive things and stuff. After the course that we did, we're going to talk a little bit about that in the next video. But it's made us realize that sometimes we weren't being as positive as we could be.
yeah,
I
we're
guess.
generally positive people, so that's good. But like we said, for example, about the negative YouTube comments, like 1 in 100 comments is probably negative, and 99 are really positive. And sometimes you have the tendency to just like there's one negative comment that sucks, and it kind of makes you feel a little bad. But I mean, why focus on the one negative comment when you have 99 positive ones? Like either just delete it or ignore it, or just like, okay, this person probably had a really bad day or bad month.
And like for me personally, one of the things that I was kind of struggling with for a while, I guess, was that I felt that our views on our YouTube channel were kind of dropping a little bit. And since I do the edits, I felt that that was my fault. And when I tried harder, I couldn't improve it. I couldn't get the views up, which sounds like, oh, that's so superficial just looking at views. But it's a measurement for how much you guys like the videos and how good my work on the videos is. So if that's like my main output for our channel and people don't really like it, then I'm just like, snap. Yeah. But then it doesn't really help to focus on that. It's so much better to focus on
the people that are here, and
the people
for example,
that are
we
here.
have about 200 people on this live stream, and we really enjoy talking with you guys, and let's say 10,000 views we get per video. It's really cool just that we have already 10,000 people watching our
It
videos.
is really
It
cool,
is.
and sometimes you can kind of forget about that. And probably you have the same in your life as well. That you have like a great day, but then someone cuts you off in traffic, or something stupid happens at the grocery store, or you forget your wallet somewhere, and it just kind of brings this dark cloud over your day where you're just like, oh, and you kind of get worn down a little bit. But we've been making a really conscious effort to not let it bug us and just think like life is happening for us, not to us. Like good stuff is happening, and I've been kind of focusing on that more and more. And I mean,
Yeah. And
it's really been helping.
What's your
on to the next question.
favorite thing about me?
Favorite thing about you? I think you're just, I mean, you as well have become more and more positive in the past few weeks because we've been kind of focusing on, but you're just naturally such a laid back person. Like if you've met Naik, whether you know us personally or whether you've just met us when we were traveling, he's just so laid back and so, like, for example, whenever we're out exploring or out driving and something goes a little bit wrong, you're always so chilled and laid back, and you're
Always a
super
solution to everything.
you're super loving towards me. And we don't always show this on camera because I don't want to be like all day long like, isn't he amazing? And, but that's what I'm like in real life. But he is amazing, and he's super loving towards me, and I just love that. I feel like we have a very warm relationship.
I'm blushing now.
And now part 2 of the question was, what bothers you the most about the other person? All right, cutting to the next one. No, you can say it. I don't know what it is, but
I don't know. Like before, sometimes,
oh, I know what you're gonna say.
like now we've been like making a real effort to be positive, but you could sometimes focus like a bit much on like things
Negatives.
that weren't going right. I mean, there's always stuff in your life going right and wrong. It's all the time. Like everybody has their problems or stuff that goes wrong and stuff that's going really right.
Yeah.
And sometimes you like now it's really good, but
Yeah.
sometimes you have to
When things weren't
Yeah.
going well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of tend to be like, not on a normal day. I think I'm overall pretty positive person, but when things don't go my way, I'm not always super bubbly about it.
No. But I mean, it's good that you focus on what's going wrong and try to improve it. But like sometimes you get caught up in it.
Yeah. And now for what I don't like about Naik, what bothers me the most.
Sorry, I have to leave through this little window.
This is a tiny window. You're never ever gonna fit through there. The hardest thing for me, I guess, is that you're kind of chaotic sometimes.
Me?
Maybe we'll show this in one of the next videos. 'Cause you all love Naik's cooking, and he's a wonderful chef. But for example, when Naik cooks in the kitchen, like he makes a mess. Like you sometimes show it a little bit, but you're a little bit more chaotic, and you get so sucked up into enjoying the moment that you kind of
Yeah.
spread a little teensy bit of chaos.
Okay, guys, 9 more minutes, and then we're really like 30 minutes ago we said 15 minutes, and now we've got already 20 minutes extra. Now, I mean, we really love this, but
Naik's
going on
brain is getting
3
fried.
hours on
It's
my-
getting
my
fried.
brain.
Did you see how long it took him to come up with positive stuff about me? That's not normal.
all right, rapid fire. A few more questions.
And launch all of your questions.
Some of them have been asked before. We're just gonna repeat it because we
Okay.
know that some people have just joined.
I'm in the zone.
What do you miss the most from Belgium?
Food.
And family and friends.
Yeah, but
Yeah, the previous question.
from Belgium,
the
about
previous
Belgium.
question was like, what do you miss most besides friends and family? So
Yes,
friends and family, and then food.
and then food, beef stew, pastries,
Um,
beer, chocolate.
my mom says, I want you to know I love you both very much, and I miss you a lot. I
We miss you too.
Mom.
We miss you too. We'll be back in a few short months.
Yeah.
And then we can catch up.
Someone says hi from Limburg, which is the province we're from. Someone else says hi from Belgium. Hi guys from Belgium. Annabelle says,
Oh, that's amazing, Annabelle. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the super chat. We really appreciate it. Thank you so
I want
much.
to commend your implication in this live chat and to your YouTube videos as a whole. That is amazing. It's going straight into Antarctica
Yeah.
fun.
What's your number one destination that you still haven't visited?
Oh,
Good.
I think for me probably Japan or South Africa.
Yeah,
Or
for me too.
French Polynesia. I would love to go there. The pictures just look amazing.
Yeah.
The palm trees and the...
Oh, thanks, Jody. Is that Jody and Matt, right?
I think so. I can't tell from the picture.
Thanks, guys, for the super
Super
chat,
chat,
Jody.
that's amazing.
That's amazing. Thank you so much.
Okay, Camper Vibe Live. Oh,
Oh.
there's another live Q&A
Another
starting.
live Q&A, Camper Vibe. They make really good videos too.
No scuba diving in the Yucatan. Do you have air conditioning? We do not have air conditioning in our van.
No.
Or is it really hot in there? Yes.
I mean, it's
This is. Oh, that is.
it's kind of hot, but not super hot. Like it's not. Like not. I want to get out of here. I mean, it's just like slightly uncomfortable.
But then again, we're not in the heat wave right now. It's not 40 degrees
Yeah,
outside.
so it's about 30 degrees Celsius, 86 in Fahrenheit.
It can get uncomfortably hot.
And that's about like where it becomes starting uncomfortable, like 30 degrees. And once you go above that, yes, it starts becoming uncomfortably hot in the van, especially in noon when there's when the sun is out and we're parked in the sun. So once it gets really above 30 degrees, like if we're working during the day, we try to find some other place to work for a few hours during like the warmest hours. It's no problem sleeping in the hot weather. It kind of cools down quite a lot at night here.
Right now in Cabo,
at least here in Mexico. So there's no issue sleeping at night.
But the humidity isn't too bad either, and it's probably gonna. We've been looking at each other sometimes, and we're like, "Oh, it's hot," and then looking at each other and going like, "That's gonna get a lot worse, isn't it?"
Yeah,
in the next month,
it's gonna get hotter.
It's gonna get hotter.
It's kind of still temperate.
Yeah.
For example, when we were in middle of summertime in Italy, on the coast, the Amalfi Coast, it got like 36, 38 degrees during the day. It was super hot in the van. And at night, it didn't cool down a lot. So that wasn't really comfortable.
And yet we stayed in the van because the Amalfi Coast is super expensive. We couldn't afford a hotel. No. We just toughed it out.
We toughed it out.
Oh.
But since we're traveling in like cheaper countries now, like I think
if it becomes really bad,
yeah, we might just sleep in Airbnb once in a while for a few nights, just to like if it's really hot and uncomfortable. We can do that.
Ooh, someone says we're both so funny. Thank you. Okay.
So no, we don't have any AC in the van. Did you guys manage to find the lost key? No, we didn't. It's lost forever.
So if you didn't see the last video, we have like a bear lock installed in our van, which is like you need a key to unlock the gearbox. Otherwise, you can't switch gears. Hence, you can't drive a car. If you only drive automatic, you need in a non-automatic, in a manual, you need to switch the gears. And we had 3 keys for that. I lost one last year. Now we have 2 left. Then I lost one a few weeks ago. Now we have 1 left. So if we lose that key, we have to start an entire procedure. I mean, I'm gonna order the new key soon.
Yeah.
We need to buy new spare keys.
Now we keep the key in the van. Like we don't take it out of the van.
Someone says, it seems I'm late to the party. Well, if you are late to the party, you can rewatch this whole thing.
If you're joining now, we've been going on for almost 3 hours now, and we have 4 more minutes to go because 3 hours, my brain hurts. But the good thing is you can go back and like after this ends, it's going to be public on YouTube as well, so you can just rewatch.
So if you have any more questions, plug them in right now because now there's a little bit less questions coming, so we can get to your question maybe if we skipped it before. Do we have any plans for? Oh, hi, Holly and Matt, probably.
Hi guys.
Just wondering if you have any plans for any of our family members to visit us on the road. Not right now.
No.
We initially thought that would happen more often, but it's kind of hard. I think. I mean, not everyone wants to always come to the places where we are.
It's pretty far.
It's pretty far. We're on the other side of the world.
It's hard to arrange practically because we always make a plan of being there and there on that time, but then always things change. Like for example, we were planning to stay for 3 weeks in Baja, and we ended up staying about 2 months. One because we got sick and lost a few weeks there, but also we met up with Chris and Marianne and Francesca. And we just enjoyed our time with them so much that we stuck around for probably another week or 10 days, just hanging out with them and having fun.
And we don't work as well. It's kind of hard. If I would tell my family, meet us in Mexico City for a week, and then that week we have a major project, we would either have to turn it down or it's kind of hard.
It's hard, yeah. How do you stay connected? Do you have Starlink? No, we don't have Starlink. I
Chris
think
and Marianne have
it's a really cool system. It works really well.
Starlink is Elon Musk's internet, for those of you who don't know.
Yeah, it's like satellite internet. You can have internet everywhere, like even like the most remote places where there's no cell phone reception or anything, you can have internet through satellites.
So we don't have one, mainly because Starlink is not the same in every part of the world.
Yeah.
So the Starlink that works in North America will not work in South America, will not work in Europe.
Yeah. So they have a subscription specifically for North America, and you can use it there. And I think also the hardware is different. But I've read actually they're now doing a beta test, like a new test, um, with Starlink that you can use everywhere in the world. And if that would be the case, we would probably get one. Because now it's not compatible between, like, to say, different continents. Like if we go to South America, it wouldn't be able to use it there. The one we buy here,
Which doesn't make a lot
and
of
then we go
sense.
back to Europe, also the same. So it's just like $600 hardware and about $150 a month. It's not cheap, but like having internet everywhere, it's really good. But if we have to buy a new one everywhere we go, it doesn't work.
Okay.
Okay, last two
Did
questions.
we prank each other yesterday? No, we did
No.
not.
We
We
actually-
actually kind of forgot about
Yeah,
it.
we
We
had a-
don't really prank each other, but
we had a busy day running around, running errands, and like
what is the powered by Stage 10 that we're seeing? Stage 10 is a stream. You're probably it's this here. It's a
Oh.
streaming software. So we have a webcam, but a webcam you can't stream directly onto YouTube. You need some software to.
makes it. I think you can directly screen.
Yeah,
but
we
it
haven't
makes
figured
it
that out yet.
easier. It makes it easier for us to do this live stream, and because we're using the free version of Stage 10, they just put this logo on here.
Put the logo here. So we use for all our Patreon live streams as well. It works
Yeah.
pretty well.
What's your current setup for this live stream? We just have our laptop up actually, and before we were just using the built-in webcam in the laptop, but it wasn't doing very well in lower light. I mean, it's not super bright in the van here because we don't have the lights on.
We don't want to put the lights on because then everyone can see
Yeah,
us.
you're kind of visible from the streets. But we bought a new webcam yesterday. It's a Logitech, I think C270 or something.
looking pretty crispy.
Uh,
not when I do this.
and it looks a lot better actually. I don't know how the
Quality is on the
quality
stream.
is on the stream because it also depends on the upload speed. So if
On
our
the internet.
is a bit slow, it's lower quality. But for us, at least, it looks really good. Maybe this question, the last one, you can answer.
Why I don't work remotely as a lawyer? I would think that would pay more than translating. Yes, but I don't like it. That's a very short version of it. And also, I think I used to work as part of a really big firm, which you just have a lot of colleagues to give you feedback and work together on projects. And I think people do their best work together. And I think being a lawyer by myself, especially in something as technical as tax law, is not something I want to do.
It's not something you can do as like a part-time job.
And again, I didn't really enjoy it. And you need to be on client time and stuff. So I don't think it would work very well.
Yeah.
Translating is very flexible.
Okay, last question. Then we're hitting the end. But what's our favorite country? You've been to?
Mexico.
Mexico, yeah. For
Mexico.
me, it's Mexico.
And I
too.
think we're going to show you over the next couple of weeks why we love Mexico so much. Because it has everything. I mean, we've already shown you a bunch of stuff here in Baja. Or Baja. Sean. But we love the food. We love the jungle. We love ruins. We love the beaches. And we're going to show you so much more of that.
The people are great too.
So yeah, I think that's probably it for our first
That's
live
it.
stream.
We've been going for 3 hours now. We actually planned to do this for 2 hours, but I mean, we're just having so much fun.
Yeah,
And we were
and if you like these live streams and you want to do them every month with us, you can go over to our Patreon. You don't have to, but if you enjoy them, you can.
do.
All our patrons have access to monthly live streams and behind the scenes videos and stuff.
We're gonna do a Zoom call as well.
A Zoom call in a few weeks on Patreon, and we have our first behind the scenes video about what our life is like
coming up, yeah.
today.
And
Normally.
we've got
and otherwise tomorrow.
some more behind the scenes stuff, more content. Actually, put some behind the scenes vlog, and
But we absolutely
you might find some cool surprises on there as well that we're gonna launch in a few weeks. That most people have access to. But
Stop. Okay. So we want to say a massive thank you because you guys have been sending messages about how much you enjoyed the stream.
Yeah.
I just want to say I really, really love it because I was a little bit nervous about it because there were so many people here. But I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I want to give a big applause for all of you guys. Woohoo!
thanks, guys,
You're
for joining.
absolutely
I
amazing.
never expected to get so many people on and get so many cool questions and responses. And,
We had lots of fun. We really did.
sorry if we didn't get to your question, but the
And you
chat
can-
was sometimes so busy. But
Yeah, and
if you
you can-
still have a question, just send it to us on Instagram.
Instagram is the easiest way to send it to us, and we will get back to you. Now we are gonna turn on our fan.
Can we open up the windows?
Should we turn on the fan? Just show them how noisy it is.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you can turn the fan on. You can see why we've been sweating our butts off for the past 3 hours because we love you and we care about your viewing experience. It is a very cool fan.
It's our biggest fan.
It's our biggest fan. It's a super fan. Okay. Now we're gonna put everything on full blast.
It's kind of like you're in a movie now. Your hair is...
Oh, my hair is in a
All right. Thanks for joining, guys.
Bye bye.
See you in the next one.
Thank you.